What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Bear with me 1 second. Just 1 second. Oh, all right. Happy Sunday. Just in case anyone is wondering what the noise is in the background, it's a fan. My air went out. Oh my God. So, you all obviously know how irritated Mama is right now. But we in here, we doing this. Y'all come on in, say hello. Shout out to everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Oh my God. Thank you all so much for your patience as well. I appreciate that. Yeah, my air went out. So it's like fan mode. Um, I just got through putting in a couple of worker orders and stuff like that. Y'all still have to catch up on my rent. Like that's it's so irritating for all this to be happening one time. I just had to vent that out. Thank y'all so much, though. I appreciate all of you all for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for your support. Oh man, we have a great show lined up because we get to see someone, straight out of context who did a video a couple months ago about her just kind of giving her, her background piece on how she came out of this cult of Candace Owens, right? And then she did another recent video yesterday. I think what was it yesterday? It was 4 days ago. So I want to check that out. And then yesterday, of course, while we was doing our members only live, Milk Bar dropped a new video. And then we have some Ami Kozak to end this out with so we can have a good laugh. Everybody can just kind of laugh together. Because Candace knows that she's got it coming. She's trying to link the Charlie Kirk assassination to now, again, the French president. Didn't I tell you all she was recycling her conspiracy theories? She's just recycling them. Candace, we all know you do not want to go through this litigation because you're going to lose, girl. You're going to lose bad. You don't sit here and say, I do not want this case dismissed. I do not want this case dismissed. And then turn around. Yeah, I filed the motion to dismiss because, they're talking about they were defamed in Delaware. But see, if they claimed they were defamed, it would have been, it was here. No, that's what she said exactly. It was here in Tennessee. I said, y'all, her attorneys are going to quit. So you're admitting that you defamed them. You're just disputing the state that you did it in. Like this. Y'all, you can't make this up. So Candace is saying, well, since they're claiming, that they're being defamed, if that be the case, they weren't defamed in Delaware. They were defamed here in Tennessee. Oh God, you can't. This is just too good. It's too priceless. What's going on? Let's get some comments in, y'all. She admitting that she defamed them. Oh, her attorney is gonna be so mad. Oh my goodness. Shout out to No Reply, y'all. Okay, so we gotta read this. Hey to everybody coming in. Candace is an idiot. I know, right? What's going on? S-File. Shout out to all my mods. Francisca's up in here. CC's up in here. Heather Rose is a new person. What's going on? She filed the brief for the motion to dismiss on October 30th. Should be soon when the court responds. Yes. What should be happening next? Because the I think the petition of the plaintiff is just looking for the court to go ahead and schedule a hearing on the motion, which is the next step. So they're going to have a hearing on the motion to dismiss. They tried to get another extension, and the Macron's attorney was like, "Oh hell no, no, y'all not getting another extension for no 3,000 words. No, y'all need to bring it in. We need to all agree on when we ready to come to court." So the Macrons are ready to move forward. Candace and her attorney is just looking for ways to stall or, to try to get around this. Their whole libel tourism defense is garbage. It's absolutely stupid. And then this goon of a moron of a girl is admitting that she defamed them. She just admitted that she defamed them in Tennessee. You can't make this up. Oh, that was priceless, y'all. I had to do a snippet on that. Let me show y'all. I say you can't make this up. This girl is a moron. Is here in Tennessee in the famous. You can't make this up. Attorneys have just got to be shitting a brick. Y'all, look at this. Oh, Candace. Oh, you're going, girl. Look at this. Where they claim that they have been defamed is here in Tennessee. Candace, you're admitting that you defamed them. You're just saying that you did it in Tennessee because that's where you think you're physically located. You understand that the courts don't care. They don't care if you say that you're physically located in Tennessee, because how do we know that for sure, right? She would have to prove I'm here in Tennessee, but it doesn't eradicate the fact that she has an LLC and Georgetown Inc. registered in Delaware. Okay. So, with that being the state of where the LLC and the Inc., the incorporation, the Georgetown Inc., are registered in, and that's where their money is being made, and that's where her YouTube channel, her Instagram, Twitter, X, wherever else she's drawing all this money from, because brainless cult members are sitting here worshiping the ground she walks on and failing to read letters. So all of that is being done under that LLC. They don't care about where you're physically located when the defamation itself is occurring online on an electronic platform. You're on social media. You understand? You're on social media. So it's irrelevant. Because social media can't, your electronic communications, you can't just say, even though I did it online, it should only be seen as me being physically located somewhere. No, the defamation did not occur in person in the state of Tennessee. It's not like the Macrons and Candace was outside, at the park, and they just so happened to be physically located in the state of Tennessee. If it's done over electronic communications, you're talking about an electronic platform such as social media, that's interstate. So that doesn't apply as to your physical location. That would be interstate communication. So that transcends beyond it just being a state level issue or a matter of you being physically located somewhere. So the Macrons really could have went for a federal lawsuit if they wanted to because of that. Because, you're saying the jurisdiction is not limited to where she's physically located if she did it over the internet. There's no jurisdiction when it comes to doing things over the internet. So if it were any other matter, like let's just say if it was something criminal related, go for wire fraud, right? That would be under the jurisdiction of the FBI because the internet does not have one spot, one place or one location type of jurisdiction. All of that interstate communication, it could cross state lines. And if it were a matter where, let's say, the FBI is investigating, it would be under the jurisdiction of the FBI because of it being interstate communication. So Candace Owens' attorneys are not even explaining this stuff to her. And she's like, oh, well, I, I don't understand why they filed it up there, because like her LLC isn't registered there. At the time of the defamation, Candace, at the time that the defamation occurred and still occurring, your LLC was registered in Delaware. You're making money off this defamation. And all of that falls under your LLC, registered in the state of Delaware. Yeah, she's been defaming the Macrones for over a year. She is not that smart. So they don't look at this one time that you did it, you were here in this one place. Because what if you were traveling while you're doing these shows? How do we know she's not sitting on a bus with a background and a green screen? How do we know that? How do we know that she is physically sitting in anywhere in the state of Tennessee? That's why they don't, when it comes to electronic communications, they consider that interstate, because they can't just say you were physically pinpointing to the spot. Because what if you were traveling? You're still defaming them. You've been doing it over a year, and you've been doing it over the internet. So who cares? They're trying to make an issue out of something like that. It's so crazy. She'll probably claim she has to go. She has to go into witness protection because of the alleged death threats. Ain't nobody stunned Candace. Girl, Candace, you heifer. Because I know you watch. No one is studying you. You keep trying to invoke yourself into something where you don't belong. You're not that important, girl. Them Macrones weren't bothering you. They weren't stunning you. They were over there minding their own business. And you decided to pick up some nonsense from two French journalists because you knew it would be sensational. If she were to do anything along the lines of educational or informative, her show would suck because she's an airhead. She doesn't know anything. So she has to go on what's gossipy. What's sensational. Let me make a story out of some BS that I know, I could just leave in the air and linger. No, defamation is not protected under the First Amendment. And her attorneys are horrible because they failed to tell her that. And now she's put them out there to be doxxed and subjected to cyber harassment and bullying and stalking. She's got people going to that building. These people probably don't feel safe at all. Most of that building, she pointed out, is her attorney's building. She didn't say that, though. She didn't say, hey, y'all, just as an FYI, please don't go to that building. My attorneys work there. Nope. Candace, you didn't care when you were putting that information out there because you're trying to sound intellectual somehow. Rather hard for you to do. But I can guarantee you they're not going to take kindly to it if they start getting followed to their car. Or if people coming up in there, in droves, trying to figure out where's the DHS, where's the DOJ, where's the FBI. Candace said they were here. Candace said they're here in this building. We demand to have a full tour. Where the attorney's office is taking up 8 floors out of the 11 floors. This stuff could be proved by looking at the director. Candace, you're bad at this, girl. You are bad at this. Oh my God. So now that I'm done ranting, because you can't make this stuff up. Now she's still trying to blame the Macrones for the death of Charlie Kirk. Like, has he ever even met them? What? They have no business with that man. None. The Macrones have no business with Turning Point USA. They ain't have nothing to do with this. But this is what she's doing because she's being sued. Candace, that's your lawsuit. You brought that upon yourself. You need to grow up and handle your business and stop acting like a petulant child. You're throwing a tantrum, and now you're trying to accuse a foreign president of being involved in a murder plot just to get back at you. Nope. They're getting back at you by taking your dumb ass to court, and they want you to actually stop delaying the process. Why don't you and your attorneys just go ahead and request for a hearing on your motion to dismiss and to strike the First Amendment complaint and keep living? If you feel like you have a defense, go to court. You defend yourself in court. You don't blame them for a whole murder that has nothing to do with the matter. That's a pathetic way out of this, Candace. And it's not going to work. And what you're going to do, Candace Owens, is piss off Judge Rennie. You know, the judge presiding over the lawsuit. You're going to piss that judge off because that judge is going to see you're not only blaming her and her husband for being involved in a murder, you're also defaming them by claiming that she was born a man. You can't help yourself, can you, Mrs. Owens? Farmer. Mrs. Owens Farmer, I see that you're having a hard time being able to control your inability to not defame someone. Now you're accusing the couple of having committed a heinous crime or being involved with it. With murder. Murder is serious. So clearly you have the ability to defame someone. Candace, that's defamation as well. When you're falsely accusing someone of committing a crime, you understand that's defamation. That is also malice. It's malicious. It's malicious slander. Accusing someone of committing a heinous crime, such as murder, is malicious. Because your dumbass attorneys are not teaching you anything. I'm not advocating for them to be doxxed. I'm not advocating for anyone to go to that building. Those people deserve to work in peace. But they're not giving her legal counsel at all. She's not listening to her attorneys. She's not listening to anybody. Candace, your pride will come before your fall. And we see you falling right now. So may you continue to fall until you land hard on your face. Because you don't care who you're hurting along the way, girl. So welcome in all. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in. We got some comments to get in. No Reply has left us a lovely letter. Dear Mr. Claire and Miss Locke, I'm writing to provide time-sensitive factual evidence regarding the defendant Candace Owens in the case of Macron v. Owens, Delaware Superior Court case number N as in Nancy 25C as in Candace -07-194. This information confirms a new separate act of reckless misconduct that directly relates to your burden of proving actual malice and has caused the immediate collapse of the defendant's legal representation. The critical event on Friday, November 21, 25, the defendant publicly released or amplified video content in which she, one, defamed the business address of her own counsel. She specifically targeted N920 in King Street, that's North King Street, 4th floor, Wilmington, Delaware, which is registered office for her defense counsel, Richards, Layton and Finger, Pennsylvania, RLF. 2, imputed criminality. She publicly claimed this specific address was a hub of sadistic criminals. I can't talk today. Sadistic criminals, and linked the location to murder and assassination plots. The direct result, this act of corporate defamation against her own law firm's physical office created an irreconcilable conflict of interest and an acute security risk for RLF. I personally contacted RLF with verifiable details regarding the defendant's statements concerning their specific floor. I have direct knowledge that RLF was forced to treat this as an immediate security and ethical crisis. This directly resulted in RLF preparing a motion to withdraw as counsel, which is expected to be filed in the Delaware Superior Court this month, coming Monday, November 24, 2025. There you go. Now wait for next week to watch the docket. Let me tell y'all something. Can we just put hand clap emojis in the chat? Let's give No Reply a thunderous applause for putting his foot on Candace's neck, which I am here to amplify as well. Candace. Now, you can say whatever you want to say about this defamation in Tennessee thing here. But now you've brought that defamation upon your own attorney's heads. And while they want to sit here and claim libel tourism, they're not going to be able to get away from that. You know, because you claim you did that in Tennessee as well. Y'all see, when I pull up this stuff, it has a point. I just have to connect it for you all so you all can see the big picture and it can make sense. Does that make sense? All these things connect together. So now they have evidence of her admitting to the defamation. It's irrelevant where she was physically located because it was done over the internet. And now she's involved her own defense attorneys because Candace Owens can't stop lying for 5 minutes. Oh, this is epic. This is going to be one of the greatest live streams ever. Okay. Oh, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that daggone like button. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the Lady Luck Club because we are dropping receipts this week. And yes, we will be looking out for the court docket. Candace, I told you I'm on your ass about this lawsuit. And you know it. You're not getting out of this, girl. And Judge Rennie is going to blast your ass out. Do you understand? And if you if you buck, if you want to at that judge, he will hold your little bratty ass in contempt. And I am here for it. She'll be held to contempt if she acts out of character in court. Okay? Because she thinks court is like her YouTube channel. So Candace, go to court if you want to and think you're going to knuck if you buck at that judge. He will hold your ass in contempt and have you detained. Let that happen. Oh, we're here for it, people. We're here for it. 75 people watching. Hit the like button. I don't care if it's Sunday football. Hit that like button. We're going to have some fun. Shout out to No Reply. I'm going to be watching for the docket. He already know I am. Of course I am. What's going on, Movie King? Fantastic. Thank you for providing this update. Listen here. And my apologies for the delay, you all. My air's out. I'm waiting on groceries to still come. I don't know what's going on with that. So I may have to pause in case they do come while I'm live. Because, you know, of course, everything happens when you're not expecting it. God. What's going on, Mr. Candace can't avoid the inevitable. Oh, no, she can't. CC. Amy, how you doing, honey? Francisca, shout out to my mods. I appreciate you all for being here. Diane, how you doing? Can't get any more ridiculous. Exactly. Oh, Lord. Then we have this cult thing we got to acknowledge and address. You know, because Candace Owens has somehow become a cult leader. And she doesn't want to admit it. Candace, you should feel proud. You want people kissing your feet and kissing your ass and all this other stuff. I mean, why shy away from that? Just own up to it, girl. You're a cult leader. It's so crazy. Poetry Princess, happy Sunday, everybody. I'm just trying to get all the acknowledgments in here I can. Heather Jensen, how you doing? New people up in here. Welcome in. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's blow this live stream out of the water because I do want Candace to know I'm staying on top of her neck with this case. You sit here and you defame people. You've attacked people. You cyber harassed, cyber stalked, doxed people. You've outed people because they were Jewish donors, according to you. And you think that all of this is supposed to go without punishment? You're crazy. And I'm here to tell you that you are crazy. I don't mind telling you that. I will remind you every minute I can that you're crazy. Except, you know, you can throw a tantrum if you want to. You and your candy ass cult followers. It just don't work over here. I don't care about your tantrum, Candace. No one cares about your tantrum. You got it coming. All right. Oh, we got some new people up in here. Everybody speak to everybody. Hims, how you doing? Oh, man, we got a lot of new people up here. Heather Rose, Candace enjoys creating confusion, doubt, anxiety, and chaos. She is a malignant narcissist. They are sadistic and thrive on watching others suffer. The antidote is to ignore them. Yeah, we will be when she gets hit with that judgment. The thing is, I want turning point. See, people like me, she don't care if we, you know, content creators. She don't care about us, right? She thinks she's high and mighty. At some point, she's going to fall. She's going to have a mighty fall, okay? But, and that's what she's just reaping what she sowed. But the people she wants to respond to her, like the Macrons, Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, yeah, they're the ones who really need to ignore her. They don't need to say her name. No one needs to acknowledge her presence. I'll say it. But if Erica Kirk continues to ignore her and Turning Point ignores her, even better. Those are the ones that matter the most. Because she wants them to keep feeding her that energy, that back and forth. She wants that because she's an idiot and she can't come up with content based off of real information. So no, we content creators, we're going to report on it. I'm an independent journalist. I'm going to report on it. But the people she wants to respond to her, she wants soundbiting her name. They're the ones that need to ensure that they ignore her. Erica Kirk treats this girl like she does not exist on earth. And I am so happy she does. Because she definitely wants Erica Kirk to respond. Erica Kirk, don't respond, girl. Keep taking care of your kids. Run your company. And, keep acting like she doesn't exist. I mean, I'm just saying. You don't have to acknowledge her presence on earth. You don't owe her that. So, yep, the S-Files. Shout out to you. Shout out to my mods, y'all. I love my mods. I have the best mods here on YouTube. All right. All the candy asses are in here, are in there. We got candy asses here. Y'all, they come over here anyway. They love the banter. What's going on, Monique? How you doing? She filed the brief for the motion to dismiss on October 30th. Should be soon. Yeah. We're waiting for that hearing to be scheduled. Candace is an idiot. I know. She'll write fiction or sci-fi. You would think so. She would have a good time. I laughed so hard at your videos. Oh, thank you. We try to have fun here. We try our best to have fun. What's going on, the Honey Bun Empress? You would think she would just sit down and say, let me take all these stupid ass ideas I got, as fantastical as they are, and put it in a book. Take all those tips from her tip line. Candace, you can make a book with that. It's some of the wackiest conspiracy theories that extends beyond this earth. Why don't you just go ahead and write a book based on your tip line? Candace's email tip line. The beginning, chapter 1. It all started with a letter about the DHS. Oh, man, I will read that bad boy. It will be like one of our story time book reading sessions when everybody's like ready for bed and stuff. And then I'll read it, come in like ASMR. Chapter 1. Candace has lost her mind. She went to Pluto and she never came back. Y'all read that book like ASMR. Y'all be sleeping 5 minutes. You can't make this up. Girl, write that book, girl. Write that book. She's better off writing crime thriller fiction. Yeah. Oh my God. She has an imagination. It's just seems like it's all from the ideas of all the people leaving those email tips. So I don't even think Candace is that creative. I just don't think she is. Candace, you're having a hard time answering some questions. I don't understand this. From the press? Why are you sitting here treating those people like that? Why are you doing them that way? Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody in here. 162 people watching. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Yes. Jesus loves the trolls as well. So we're going to have a lot of candy asses coming up in here because reasons. But they're here. We're going to have fun. We're going to laugh at them. They're going to laugh at us. It is what it is. I don't care. I'm still waiting on Benjamin Netanyahu to send me $7,000. Christmas time coming on, Benjamin Netanyahu. I celebrate Christmas, bro. I'm waiting on you to send me that $77,777.77 check because it all have to be all sevens. The candy asses need something to keep fueling their conspiracy, so it has to be all sevens, including 77 cents. You can't do zeros. You got to do 7777777.77. That's how it has to be. Oh man, it's my channel. Of course, I like to hear myself talk. Hear wrong with you? Oh, what is the BB said at $77,777 check? Yeah, we wait for it. Y'all ready? Let's go. So let's get to it. We're gonna start with Milk Bar because Milk Bar is out here doing his thing. Okay, he's keeping us on track with all of the contradictions and all of that. She can't keep a story straight on nothing. And then we have, the main event with Straight Out of Context and her videos of how she's coming out this Candace Owens cult because, reading is fundamental and all. And then, there's some documentation, some things I pulled up from my research about cults and cult to personality because it's real. People sometimes don't know if they're really caught up in a cult. because they get caught up in the sensationalism of everything. And there was a great breakdown that was done from What Do You Mean? Meme YouTube channel that we checked out on yesterday. And I encourage all of you all to check out that live, to go check out What Do You Meme? He did a fantastic video just kind of breaking down the deception of, her lies of conspiracies and the damage that it's doing, and how, it just comes down to any other cult leader. It's the same MO, right? So let's get to Milk Bar, and everybody say hello. I got my mods up in here. They hot and heavy. So I appreciate all the mods, making sure you guys are tuning into the chat. We don't want it to get disrespectful. So to the candy ass cult members, let me explain something to you. I don't care if you exercise free speech. What you will not do is tell me what to do in my platform. Let's be clear on that. You run nothing here. And if you say something rude and disrespectful, my mods will handle you. They'll time you out. They do what they have to do. But if you want to have some dialogue, ask questions and have some dialogue. I've already said I'm waiting for that 77777777.77 check from Benjamin Netanyahu, just to quell you all's nonsense about saying that over and over again. I don't care if that man gives me money. He doesn't control my platform either. I don't even know who he is. I never even met him. But go ahead and send me that check, Benjamin Netanyahu, and catch up on some bills. Stuff doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. But if you get real rude and disrespectful, you start acting stupid, we're gonna kick you out of here, because I don't want you spamming my chat, because you don't run my platform. As long as we all in agreement and understand that you all want to ask questions and just have some regular dialogue, fine. But if you want to sit here and go through all that spamming in the chat, and I had someone the other day spelling out Nigger, that's not what the hell we gonna do. You not only get booted, you get reported for that one. That's a slur. You don't do that. I'm not slurring any of you all. You don't have to like what I say. But if you don't like it, bye. There are other channels where you can, hear the praises of Candace Owens, and it is what it is. So you don't have to be here. No, at all. You don't have to be here. You don't like it? Bye. This is my platform. I run this here. You all go run Candace Owens' platform, because she definitely lets you all do that. Y'all know she basically just reads off these tips, and that's it. That's all she goes on. Bots don't do dialogue. Nah, they don't do dialogue. So yeah, I don't care who you love. Just don't be disrespectful with it. If you don't like it, kick rocks. But this is the Lady Luck Club, and the Luxes are here to entertain, to enjoy and be entertained, and to get some informative information, which is what we offer. Plus, you got to know how to read here. So if you guys can't read, I don't know what this to tell you. This is to the candy ass copers. They don't like reading. All right, let's get to it. So shout out to Milk Bar TV. Let me make sure I drop the link to his video in the chat. And if I could get one of the mods to drop his YouTube channel, please do so. I appreciate that. That way we can show him support. Shout out to Milk Bar. We're definitely going to report on Candace Owens, so we're going to do it. The candy ass followers. They'll be all right. They're not stopping them. All right, let's go.
The one safe place is my book club. Okay. I'm like, we're real, we're ratchet in the book club. I say whatever, but they clipped it. This is Nathan Livingstone. This guy, Milk Bar TV. I was like, you're getting hit with a copyright strike, my friend. Okay. Proud of myself. Hit him with a copyright strike. They sent undercover operatives to sign up for my private book club that I kept on Tuesday. And then they took out a clip of that book club from that book club and accused me of accusing Erica of murdering her husband. I mean, they manufactured that claim out of thin air, and then they made it go viral. They sent it out to all the right people, Steven Crowder, right? Everyone suddenly making videos saying that because I said he was betrayed by everyone, obviously what I meant was Erica Kirk murdered her husband. And this was all happening because I mentioned the Egyptian plane. I am certain of it.
That had nothing to do with it. Charlie Kirk was running Turning Point USA, and he truly...
Y'all, let's go back. Hold on. That was Milk Bar. Hold on, let me go back.
The one safe place for the book club.
This was like 57 seconds. Oh my good Lord. Sometimes, the good information is in the details. That's why I have the captions on. Because it's just always something she says that it's like an admission to something. Or she'll lie about something that's so obvious. And I know I have a screenshot of something else she said. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm like, we're real, like, you know, we're ratchet in the book club. I say whatever, but they clipped it. This is Nathan Livingstone. This guy, Milk Bar TV. I was like, you're getting hit with a copyright strike, my friend. Okay. Proud of myself. Hit him with a copyright strike. They said,
how is it copyrighted? Candace, how's that? How does that apply to DMCA laws? Because we all know you don't know laws. So he came into your book club and he got a snippet of your video. Was that video copyrighted? Because I don't think it is. It's behind a paywall. Doesn't make it copyrighted. There's a difference, Candace. Because she doesn't understand laws. It's like she's just saying it's copyright strike. No, but is it copyrighted? See, the problem is it's still up because Candace doesn't understand how laws work. That's not a copyright strike. That's you being upset because someone took something from behind a paywall. Now, YouTube have policies on that. I don't know what the policy is over there on Instagram or anything else. But for you to say that's a copyright strike, it's not a copyright strike because you have to prove that it's copyrighted and that you're the rightful owner of it. If it's not copyrighted, you can say, hey, he took it from behind a paywall. But is that a copyright strike? She doesn't understand how copyright laws, like how DMCA laws and how copyrights work. She just don't get it. Candace, you could read the law, girl. You can read DMCA laws. It's a Digital Millennium Act. And you can pull it up. Because she doesn't know how copyright laws work. Copyright. Oh, Candace. Oh my God. You know you have to have proof that you are the rightful owner of this work, right? Yeah, because this is it. Copyright laws protect original works of authorship, granting creators exclusive rights to their works for a limited time, promoting creativity and cultural progress. What is copyright? Copyright is a form of protection grounded in the U.S. Constitution and granted by law for original works of authorship fixed in a tangible medium of expression. This includes a wide range of creative works, such as literature, music, film, software, and visual arts. Copyright does not protect idea, facts, or systems, but rather the specific expression of those. So do you have any rights to this? Like, how do you do a copyright strike if you can't prove that you're the rightful owner of it? You got to register it with the U.S. Copyright Office. Y'all see this registration here? You have to prove that you are the rightful owner of that work. You see, this is ridiculous. This is laws. Y'all see copyright laws of the U.S.? You don't believe me? United States Patent and Trademark Office. Laws, because laws are laws. You have to prove that you are the original rightful owner of it, meaning you have to register that. You have to have it copyrighted. How you hit someone with a copyright strike and you don't have proof that you have it copyrighted? We're reading laws. I understand the candy ass cult followers don't read. They don't read because in their world, nothing is real. Everything's fake unless Candace Owens says it. And she's an airhead. So Candace, you could have looked it up. You have enough money to be able to have things copyrighted. You have 3 attorneys that you've now put on the brink of having to probably withdraw from your case. But either way, you can get another attorney that can actually help you get your videos and things copyrighted and patent and all that stuff. But you would have to have proof of that. Otherwise, you can kick rock, girl. You talk about yeah, because she doesn't know what copyright laws are. So she's decrying, oh no, he took my video and I get ratchet here and all this. Okay, but good for you. What was it registered? And could you prove that you were the actual owner of that video? No. I say there's a no because it's still up. He still has it. Yeah.
They sent undercover operatives to sign up for my private book club that I kept on Tuesday. And then they took out a clip of that book club from that book club and accused me of accusing Erica of murdering her husband. I mean, they manufactured that claim out of thin air and then they made it go viral. They sent it out to all the right people, Steven Crowder, right? everyone suddenly making videos saying
everybody at Turning Point betrayed him. Everybody at Turning Point betrayed him. Everybody betrayed Charlie Kirk. With no exceptions to that, Candace. Since you don't know how court works either. If you say that in front of a jury, the average juror would believe that you are insinuating every person, because that is the definition of the word everybody. That means every person. And when you do not say except Erica Kirk, you're not giving any exceptions to that, because words matter. To the candy ass cult followers, words matter. It's funny how you all keep using the same words over and over again, like it bothers someone. It doesn't. It does nothing. But words matter when you're standing before a judge and a jury. So when you say everybody betrayed him, everybody, let him down, they're all covering up something at Turning Point. You're talking about the CEO as well. That would include Erica Kirk, unless you go out of your way to exclude her in your statement. The average reasonable person would reasonably conclude that she is included. She's the CEO. That's not criticism. You're not saying, well, I think Turning Point can do better when it comes to, releasing certain documentation, because, when we're doing a story or something like that, we want to be able to just kind of have that information available on the website. That's some positive criticism. Like, oh, okay, we can do better with our website maintenance. No, you're saying everybody at Turning Point is hiding something. Everybody betrayed him. And then you don't say except Erica Kirk. Please understand, I'm not insinuating her at all. I'm excluding her out of this. You're not saying before he was shot, everybody betrayed him. Before Erica Kirk became CEO, everybody betrayed. You never give an exception. And when you speak in present tense, now that she's the CEO, because this is how English works, Candace, that topic you said you have a whole degree in English, which we're all waiting to see that damn degree. Then you should understand the way you relay information matters. But yet, she just throws out red meat to her base and they just go with it. And then all of a sudden, when she gets called out on it, because I don't think her cult following cares if she goes after Erica Kirk either way. It's salaciousness for them. They don't care. They would just find that more entertaining, get them all riled up. Most of them believe that she has something to do with it either way. They're just waiting on Candace Owens to finally say it, I guess. And she knows if she says it, that all of the support she has from people who still have a brain and are looking at this from an ethical stance, especially when you have no evidence, will say, oh, we're out. Bye. Kick rocks. Because now you're including the wife. And for what? The ravaging cult members don't care. They don't have a soul or conscience or brain. Most of them are bots. Who cares? They come in and then push up my engagement. Thank you. But they don't care about that. They don't care about how this would come off to Erica Kirk at all. They're waiting for Candace to say, yeah, I believe Erica Kirk has something to do with it. Like, they're waiting for Candace to say that. So yes, the average person would conclude, listening to these videos and just hearing you say that, your statements, your post, that you are including Erica Kirk. A jury would be able to make the same conclusion, and so would a judge. And I know you don't know how court works, Candace. So you can find out the easy way or the hard way. And Erica Kirk, anytime you want to sue her, please use all my videos. This is crazy.
saying that because I said he was betrayed by everyone, obviously what I meant was Erica Kirk murdered her husband. And this was all happening because I mentioned the Egyptian plane. I am certain of it.
Oh, the damn plane. I don't know if I care about that plane. Okay. All right, y'all. This is straight out of context. This is the first video she did on why she left the cult of Candace Owens. And then there's a second video that she did I think this was a month ago, and the second one she did about 4 days ago. So we're going to check both of them out back to back. And then we're going to have some comedic relief with Ami at the end. Y'all see we got Ami there. We're already waiting on it. So, like I said, I'm going to pause. We're going to have some dialogue about this because the cult of personality is a very serious topic of discussion. Like I said, and you can find yourself being caught up and brainwashed into something very easily. No matter how many times I say, I'm not jealous of Candace Owens because I don't want her life. I don't want anything that she has going on, because when you're jealous of whatever good you think she has, you have to take the bad that goes with it. Who would be jealous of someone being sued by the president of France? What the hell is there to be jealous of? Of someone being sued by the French president. She has another lawsuit incoming. Plus, she's already been banned from Australia. She owes them money for court costs to the Australian government. The High Court of Australia did issue and render her a judgment. She has to pay their court costs because she wanted to appeal a visa ban where they don't have to let her ass in their country. They have their own sovereignty. They don't have to let her in, just like we the United States of America, don't have to let people in here. So does any other sovereign nation. They don't have to let her in there. They don't owe her a damn thing. Why would I want to be jealous of someone that's being sued and trying to run from it? That's sitting down, coming up with conspiracy theories and being caught in lie after lie after lie after lie. But she won't even acknowledge the actual death threats that these Jewish conservatives received from Nicholas Ray, who was inspired by her, Candace Owens, and a neo-Nazi. What the hell is there to be jealous of with that? I'd rather have what I have and know that at some point when I look up at the last days of my life, I'm going to heaven because I didn't sit here and falsely accuse people of murdering someone. Have peace of mind. Make sure my children are in good health. Even when life is hard and you can struggle a little bit, that's life. But this fictitious nonsense of whatever she thinks she has going on, don't nobody want none of that. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose their soul? Candace has no soul. There's nothing to be jealous of because there's nothing there. And I'm saying this, and I've been saying it. So I expect her cult members to be jealous of her and to want to be her. They're going to worship the ground she walks on like an idol god. We don't do that over here. That stuff doesn't work on me. And I hope no one is out here actually being jealous of Candace Owens. No, there's nothing to be jealous of. She's got a lot of legal issues coming down the pipeline, child, please. So as we watch this, I just want you all to pay attention to some of the things that she says in her testimonial in this video, straight out of context. And then we'll pull up some information on this cult of personality. Because for those who really need to see it, I want to be able to provide the factual information behind this so that you can understand the severity of the situation. So when you can hear and see this video, put a 1 in the chat. Let's get to it.
I didn't want to leave you guys on a crazy weekend cliffhanger. I needed to get that information out as soon as possible. Obviously, you can probably see that I received some information, a communication, which answered a lot of questions that the public has had about the story, or rather the non-story that we are getting from the feds, the push that Tyler Robinson is this lone shooter, which they're trying to establish as a fact. Some of the burning questions that we had, okay, well, if he turned himself in, how did he also not confess? I now have the answers to that. The main point, the reason why this information came to me is because there's a narrative being spun right now by the media that Tyler Robinson is or was suicidal. That is not true. And that's a very scary thing when suddenly they're saying he's suicidal and, you know, he's in solitary and he's not suicidal. So that was the reason why this information urgently came to me. Obviously, I know a lot more and I'm going to share it with you guys on Monday. I just wanted to vet some of the things that I heard, ask some more questions from people that would know, and just to make sure everything I say is above board. And obviously this lead led to more leads. And I want to give people a chance to respond. This is crazy. nothing more that I can say. This is very serious. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that what we are being told has gone on is just not so. And this is really kind of going to begin, I think, to answer a lot of questions and many more questions that need to be asked. So I just want to let you know that what they're telling us about him being suicidal is not true.
I was a fan of Candace Owens for the last 3 years consistently, and I've watched every one of her independent episodes until September 11th happened. She does a memorial video tribute to her friend Charlie Kirk, but she does a subsequent 9 more videos on the investigation into Tyler James Robinson, the person who is responsible for assassinating Charlie Kirk. And I can get into every single little semantic because I have watched every single one of them. And once my eyes opened, my eyes opened. Candace Owens is a right-wing American conservative commentator. She did work with the Daily Wire until she lost her job because there was differences in her opinion on Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, Zionists, and Jewish Americans. She was let go. She was unable to monetize on YouTube for close to a year, but she then goes independent. Up until that point, Candace Owens herself was a mainstream media figurehead. She was everywhere. She was being promoted everywhere. She was doing speaking engagements everywhere. She was all over YouTube on multiple different channels, including her content with the Daily Wire. She is married to a man from the UK named George Farmer, and he is worth over $250 million. Candace Owens herself is worth over $6 million, and she's projected to make over 7 figures just in her last 9 videos off of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, this only includes the first 5 videos out of 9 that she has done last week and this past week about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, not including her first tribute video, which is 10 total. After her first week and her first 5 videos, she is projected to make over 7 figures off of her website hits, memberships and subscriptions, merchandise sales, live gifts as it's streaming live, and then the ad revenue, plus the promotions and sponsorships on each video. The last 10 videos alone are allegedly making her close to $2 million, and they're all about the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
And y'all, this is a month ago, okay? She's been making more videos since then, averaging around 2 to 3 million views. So look at how much she's earning from a video that gets 2 million views, 3 million views, even 3.5 million views. And imagine her making that type of money every day. What you think her check gonna look like on the 21st of next month? This is how much she's earning just from views. That's not including the supers or if she has Cash App or Zelle or anything like that. That's just what's generated from views, and she gets a lot of likes. She gets a high engagement when her videos premiere, which are pre-recorded. She's not live. The videos are pre-recorded, they're scripted, pre-recorded, and they premiere. So what you see her, doing is reading comments from the previous day's live stream, from the previous day's premiere video, because she already pre-records it and then she just premieres it. But this is just revenue generated on the views. That's not including the supers. So let's just say she gets $5,000 minimum in supers, the super chat, super thanks, super stickers, all of that. That would be each day in addition to the views. You can't make this stuff up. She probably gets like 50,000 supers. I don't know. She gets a lot of supers. But this is what she's making now from just Charlie Kirk. She didn't even get these many views when she did the interview with Andrew Weinstein. And I thought that was probably one of her biggest interviews she's done since the BLM story. And this is crazy. This is the obscene amount of money she's making now. And for her to have to sit here and to rely on tips coming in her tip line, as opposed to her actually doing research, as opposed to her actually going to UVU and doing the tour. Why don't the candy asses encourage her to go to UVU, to the campus herself, and live stream from there? There's a thought. Candace, fly to UVU and go see the campus for yourself and live stream while you're out there. Go see if there's some underground pipes or some sort of underground backdoor trap or whatever. Walk up the stairs to the side of the building. Won't you go to the rooftop, get some access up there, see what's over there. Live stream the whole thing. Do something where you can put some work into this. Because pulling stuff from your tip line that's not research. It's just people telling you information. If I had the opportunity to fly out to UVU, if I'm covering a story like this, I would go to UVU myself. I want to see things for myself. I want to see the campus. I want to follow the steps of the person that's being charged with the shooting, Tyler Robinson. I want to do the whole path of what he did. You probably would answer a lot of your questions that you have, or holes that you feel is in the indictment. She hasn't read the indictment, people. Candace has not read the indictment. But if she did, she could take the indictment with her, and then just holes that she feels is left out of the indictment, she can go find out herself in person to the campus. Well, how long did it take for him to get up and down the building? Why don't you try and do it? Go up and down the stairs and time yourself. Like, these are the things that I would do if I'm sitting here investing this entire 2 months into reporting on this. I would just go to the campus myself. There's a thought. Why is no one thinking about that idea to tell Candace? I don't know. That would be absolutely necessary. Then you can see everything firsthand. You don't have to get all these dumb tips from your tip line. But, to each his own, because sensationalism and all, and nothing about really pursuing the truth, Candace, because we all know you're not.
Now, I wouldn't go this far, putting her text messages with her and Charlie Kirk behind a paywall, or even things like this. But the thing that really opened my eyes is this right here. Of course, she's going through all the legal loopholes of not committing defamation by saying anybody's specific name. She does the whole they, them game, which allows her to throw every single conspiracy theory, lie, and BS made up story to the wall just to see what sticks, because she's not actually defaming anybody, but she is making you think that she is saying particular names when she comes across other things and lumps them into one video, like the thing with the Hamptons and Bill Ackman, and talking about FBI Director Kash Patel, talking about Jewish American donors, talking about the nonprofit Turning Point USA, talking about Israel, talking about Israel's prime minister, elected prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, aka Bibi Netanyahu. Law enforcement lie. They're all corrupt. They're all bad. That's what she is constantly going on. But Utah law enforcement conducted their investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and his private friend, Kash Patel, who is now the FBI director, flew all the way there. And of course, the FBI worked alongside the Utah law enforcement to catch the person that is responsible for taking the life of Charlie Kirk. He not only had a private friendship with Kash Patel, he also had a business relationship with him. And she does say multiple times that the feds are corrupt, that they're lying, that this is a cover-up, that they're not telling the truth, that she demands answers to her questions. She demands full video footage and evidence.
Oh, that's so adorable. My whole channel is by Candace. This is coming from someone that hasn't seen my whole channel. I can guarantee you that. Umar has a whole playlist. There's a playlist about a Tiffany Henry. There's a playlist about a Novatech and the pyramid scheme that was that. I have several videos where I reacted to singers and artists. Yeah. Perhaps you should look at my whole channel. Can't make this up. You can't make this stuff up. I told y'all they're copying and pasting. Okay. So let them run their mouths, because they're just copying and pasting. They're saying the same old thing over and over and again. I can literally count how many times I've seen the comment about being jealous of her. Let them run it through, because they're pushing up my engagement. Thank you to the candy asses.
And that's just not the reality.
People, shout out to my Lucksters and my mods and all the supporters here in the Lady Luck Club. I want you all to know that I thank you all so much. And I'm humbled to know that you guys, of all days, of all channels, you're rocking it here with me in the Lady Luck Club. And it warms my heart to know that. So thank you all so much. Of course, I care about my Lucksters over a bunch of bots.
People don't understand that in order to bring this person to trial appropriately, they're not going to release all of their forensic and circumstantial evidence. That's going to be held for a jury to specifically see. Otherwise, what that's going to do is possibly taint and bias a jury pool,
Thank you,
and it could
CJ.
get his assassin off by either a
Right.
mistrial, an acquittal, or a hung jury. Why would Candace Owens want that if she was a true friend to Charlie Kirk? Why would she want his assassin to go free? Why would she even want to taint that or entertain that possibility?
Let me ask right quick. If you are you a YouTuber, a content creator, Jennifer Veterans for Truth? If so, we'll put your YouTube channel link in the chat. If you are, just let us know. If I can get one of the mods to drop Jennifer Veterans for Truth YouTube channel link in the chat, that will be awesome. Thank you so much. We want to make sure that people are getting the support, and you guys go over there and check her out. The bots are gonna be bots. Okay. I've been on YouTube for 5 years with 2 channels. Bots are bots. I don't care. All right, let them run it through. They'll tire themselves out and take naps and get sippy cups and stuff. So they'll be all right. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of those who are content creators. We appreciate you all. No, that's fine. We'll drop your YouTube channel link in the chat. We'll do that for you. All right, y'all. Let's get back to it.
What she is doing is fear mongering. It is the action of deliberately arousing public fear or alarm about a particular issue. And when she started making insinuations that Utah has a beehive, a hexagonal beehive on their flag, and that she saw some underground Reddit page that had to do with bees, and it wasn't really bees, but it was bees, meaning alluding to something else like trafficking or child SA or child trafficking, alluding to the fact that this person probably didn't do it, and it's all a big cover up. Utah law enforcement are all corrupt and lying, and so is the FBI. She even says it. Fear-mongering is scaremongering, is alarmism. So what is the motivation and the tactic behind Candace Owens doing this? Monetization for herself, preying on psychological biases. You ever wonder why she's so obsessed with psychiatry, with the CIA experiments into mind control, MK Ultra, why she's so obsessed with Sigmund Freud and all of these books about psychiatry? Because she's using psychiatry to play in your face. And I'm going to show you exactly how she does it, because once I seen it. The dangers and ethical concerns.
Wow.
Using compelling narratives, conspiracy theories, storytelling, captivating stories, mystery, danger, hidden truths, similar to detective novels or scary movies, are very effective in capturing people's attentions. She's seen an over 500% increase in viewership and live watchers from her normal standard audience in all of the Charlie Kirk assassination videos. All 10 of them in the last 2 weeks. She's not going to stop, but it's not because of truth. What she's doing is further fueling mistrust in institutions, driving radicalization and violence, normalizing fringe ideas by creating content around fringe ideas. It gives the audience a false sense of legitimacy and belonging, exploiting vulnerabilities and monopolizing public discourse. That is how you psychologically manipulate people, and that is a cult.
Yep.
Now, how can one further drive this kind of content? Through investigative documentaries, ethical journalism practices, accurate and factual presentation. If you're a fan of hers, I'm going to give you this one opportunity. Email me one piece of real forensic, circumstantial, whether it be email, text message, proof to any of her conspiracy theories being at all founded or plausible. Because I've done my research since September 10th, and guess what? Every single one of them are open-ended with no conclusion. That's how conspiracy theories and lies work.
Yep.
If it's not true and it didn't happen and it didn't take place, it's very hard to prove that it didn't happen and it didn't take place, because it just didn't. But this is the difference between a regular theory. A regular theory, you will have plausible evidence to suggest why you have come up with this theory, why you believe that it's plausible or true. Conspiracy theories play on your psychiatry, on your bias. It plays on your fear and your paranoia already. It not only lives, survives, but thrives off of that negativity of mistrust, misuse, and lies, things that aren't true and did not actually happen.
Yep.
Reporting on diverse viewpoints. She doesn't do that. But accurate and factual presentation, she mixes her conspiracy theories with her own personal hatred and bias for Jewish people, for Zionists, for Benjamin Netanyahu, for Israel, for their war actions. And she mixes that with things that are true and factual, like the fact that Charlie Kirk was running Turning Point USA, and he truly does have donors. That's true, yes. So you automatically see these little bits of truth that she is speaking about on other people or other things or other nonprofits, other speeches, other things that they might have said or done. And she uses that to say, see, look, now everything I'm saying subsequent or before this, all is something with this truth. Once you
And here's the problem is that, you know, because Candace can't really define truth, people see that not only she brings in one thing that they can all agree on, and then she so-called theorizes everything else around it, that it makes the entire plot more believable. It's not about what she's trying to prove. It's all about what she wants you to believe at the end of the day. But if you can't provide documentation and evidence, that so-called theory only gets you so far. Just like, for instance, when it comes to people saying, oh, I'm a flat earther, I don't believe the earth is round, blah, blah, blah. I don't even entertain that. You know how I solve that? I say, why don't you just go ahead and fly out to space to see what the earth looks like for yourself? If you don't want to believe the photos, you don't want to believe she doesn't believe the moon landing is real, all these things. Okay, well, next time there's an opportunity to go on a spaceship, go fly out to space, maybe a test rocket with Elon Musk or something. Go out there and see what the world looks like for yourself. Take some photos. Because certain things like that, I know based on science, based on the documentation we have, the earth is round. That the way our planet moves around the sun is not based on the planet being flat. It wouldn't work that way. Our weather system, the ability for our oceans and land masses to remain in place, the concept of gravity, all of those things would be skewed if the planet was flat. But because they don't believe, like in science, they think, oh, it's some form of the government trying to control us and tell us to believe these things. Okay, well, go out to space and go see for yourself. Let us know what you find. I don't entertain those things. Because why? It's not even worthy of mental energy to be expended on someone. Well, they can just go find out for themselves. Go to space and find out for yourself. Don't care how you do it. Just get out of space and go see what the planet looks like for yourself. But with Candace, she's not trying to do the work. Just like with Charlie Kirk. She's not trying to go to UVU and follow the steps of Tyler Robinson, to shoot his path, to see where all he went, go by the Dairy Queen herself. Maybe ask the employees in there some questions. She's not trying to do any legwork with this at all. None. She could. She can afford to, but she won't. She won't do it. Because then it'll turn that theory, that magical place of conspiracy Candyland into a reality. There'll be things she'll be faced with and will have to realize. Well, I was saying that it was this underground tunnel, and then we get here to the campus, and the location that I gave out to over 5 million people, now I see for myself doesn't even exist. How do you cover that up when you're there in person with a camera crew in front of you and you're live streaming your full visit, your tour of UVU, and all these things you said were there? Now it's being realized in real time does not even exist. That's why she won't do it. And she can always challenge me on it. Candace, I dare you to go to UVU and go out there and live stream all your theories that you said, the honey, the communistic bees and all this crap, the underground tunnels, the place where Charlie Kirk was sitting and how there was some trap door. Even if they've done something to the top surface of it, there's still something underground according to you. There's some tunnels according to you. Why don't you go look at those pipes and all those things that you were pointing out in the videos saying that looks suspicious? Then go find out for yourself in person. Wouldn't you want to do that if you want to validate all these things you've been saying, if you really want it to be true, right? You would go see for yourself. She can go find out for herself. And you know what the candy ass cult members say? Everything but that. They don't use common sense and logic. They don't say, you know what, Lady Luck Club, that would make sense. Maybe we'll flood her chat next time and tell her, hey, why don't you go and do a live special out there at UVU? Why don't you fly out there to UVU, do a live stream show so we can all see what we're seeing? Why don't you take 300 of your candy ass cult members with you, Candace? I'm sure the ones that live out there in Utah would love to meet you at UVU. They would love to come in person and meet you, and then all of you all can explore these underground tunnels. Wouldn't that make more sense? Wouldn't that make more sense? I'm just saying, why wouldn't she let the candy ass cult followers go with her, meet up with her at UTU? And then all of you all can explore that campus, all the places where she said these underground tunnels are. Go find out. Take a camera with you. That way you can record it. Then we can all see where these tunnels are, right? You can go see that for yourself in person, Candace. You don't need us telling you what to do. Go out there and see for yourself. Exactly, Shay. Doesn't make sense to a grifter. I don't know. It's too much like, right, to go in person to see this stuff for yourself. Go ahead, Candace. I don't care about all that other crap. Go out there to UVU and go and record, live stream your show live from UVU, you guys. We're out here, and 300 of my very ardent, supported followers are out here. We're going to take a tour of UVU. We're going to go to the building where the shooter was allegedly was. We're going to go to the bush, you know, that burning bush I kept talking about, where I thought people were jumping in and out that looked suspicious to me. Yeah, we're going to take a tour of that bush. We're going to look at the underground tunnels. We're going to find these communistic bees. We're going to do all this stuff in person. We're going to do all of that. No one has to tell me anything. I'm going to show you all myself in person. And I've got 300 of my cult members right behind me. We're all going to check this out on our own. Everyone's live streaming, so you all can see for yourselves what we're seeing in real time. Yay! Why don't she do that? Why don't she do that? Go to the campus, Candace. Fly to UVU. I'm just saying, fly to UVU. Prove us all wrong. Here are the tunnels, you all. I told you all they were right here. Here's the trap door. Here's how long it took me to get on down the stairs to get to these tunnels. Why don't she go out there? Go to the campus. Candace, fly your behind to UVU and do a live stream show. Give an opportunity for your co-followers to be out there with you. Then all of you all can find those communistic bees. I'm sure the honey is right. Because you just can't make this stuff up. And then you can go and explore those underground tunnels. Go look at that pipeline you was talking about. All those things you put out there and theorize. Now you can go see for yourself. You can make a whole day out of it. Do a whole tour event. You can have lunch with your people, breakfast, sit down and sign books, sell t-shirts. You can make it a whole day, girl. I just don't know why she won't do it. Go see for yourself in person, Candace. You don't have to theorize anything. Go out there for yourself. Go to UVU for yourself. And we'll all watch it. You can't make this stuff up. The simplest things. And the candy ass cult followers, they still talk about everything but that. As opposed to them saying, yes, that's a good idea. Maybe we should all go out there to UVU. Maybe we should take a tour and see what she's talking about. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Why don't we just see for ourselves? Yeah. You know, because bots can't travel.
See it. Once you watch all of her content from beginning to end, once you see it, you will see it. It's no wonder why people think she is a psyop, because she's either a narcissist and a complete sociopath, or she really is a psyop, meaning that she allegedly is being paid by some foreign entity or domestic entity to purposely put out this kind of content to further cause more fear, division in the conservative movement.
Yep.
Also, notice how she went from pushing everybody to vote for Trump and then to vote for Trump again. And now she does not support Trump or his administration at all, because she now believes that he is being funded and backed by Zionists, which AKA to her, in her mind, means that America and the president
send me the
is
$7,000
being controlled by Zionists.
Send me the $7,000 so I can book a ticket and go out there to UVU myself and do a live stream out there. And then every single theory, everything Candace said, oh, that's suspicious. Oh, the burning bush is suspicious. Oh, the pipes. I can go see for myself so I can show the Lucksters and everyone else all this nonsense that Candace Owens was talking about. It doesn't exist out here. Candace, you might want to beat me out there because your supporters want to give me $7,000. Go ahead and hit up those supers. Let's go. Give me the $7,000, candy asses. Hit the supers up. Send some money in the supers. I should be seeing $25, $50 supers just coming out of the candy asses right now. Because you all want me to fly out there. It's $7,000. Why don't you all give me the $7,000? You worried about Israel Prime Minister giving me $7,000? Why don't you all give me the $7,000? I'll take half of that and go to UVU. And I'll do a whole show out there. That way we can all solve a lot of these problems and answer a lot of these questions. Come on, candy asses. Send me the money. They want me to get $7,000 so bad. Send me the money. Then I could go out there myself. I'm not talking about anything else except her going out to the campus right now. Come on, candy asses. Send me the cash app. Come on, 310. Let's go. Send me $100. And then that'll get the ripple going. It'll get it going. As a matter of fact, let's check on the supers right now. Shout out to Laura. Get those groceries, girl. Thank you for the $10 super. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Look at God. Won't he do it? Shout out to God is my judge. $99 super sticker. Thank you so much for those stickers. I'm waiting on the candy asses to come through it. I will go out there. There are some people who are Luxers live in the state of Utah. If you're not scared to say, I will go out there and meet some of the Luxers out there in Utah with that $7,000 that the candy asses want me to get so bad. Keep speaking that money into my life. I'll take it. Come on. He's speaking that money in my life. Speaking it in my life. Why don't you add an extra zero? No, add all 7. 7777777.77. Come on, I'll go. Send me the money. They got so much to say. Send me the money. And I will go to UVU. I will fly out there next week if you sent me $7,000 today. Come on, y'all want me to spend checks and stuff, whatever. Give it to me. So I could go in person to UVU because Candace Owens is not going to do it. But yet the candy ass co-followers won't even encourage her to do it. Hey, Candace, can you just go out there to UVU and prove Lady Luck Club wrong with the underground pipes and stuff and that bush? You said it was something suspicious about the bush. Can you go out there in person and see what's going on with it? We know you got the money to do it. She got never time and money on her hands. It's not like she got a job or anything. Yeah, go ahead. Go out there. Go out there. I'll go. The candy asses want me to have $7,000 so bad. Benjamin Netanyahu, you owe me $7,000, bro. Because the candy asses said so. I don't know why. I take that money and I will take half of it and go out there to UVU. I meet up with all of the Luxers out there. The candy asses want to come out there as long as y'all don't start no nonsense and act like some grown adults for those who aren't bots. And then we will tour UVU. We'll even ask them if we can play around with their drones, see how that goes with that. Recreate the steps of Tyler Robinson. We'll do all of it. We'll go to see if there's some underground pipes. We'll go find those communistic bees. We will do that in person, and then I will live stream the whole thing. I sure damn would. Why wouldn't I? Because that's how journalism works, Candace. You go in person. You go be boots on the ground. You go do this stuff in person. Man, listen. If the candy asses want me to get $7,777.77, might as well make good use of it and go out there and tour the campus. Let's find these pipelines and see what's going on with that bush. You can't make this stuff up.
For America is currently being controlled by Zionists.
I told y'all, let the
And of course, we know she
work
doesn't
it out.
focus
They
on
get it
solutions
out.
because every single one of her content, since she has all of her conspiracy theories and investigations, since she's gone independent, even though she's still a mainstream media figurehead and she's in the 1% elite herself, she doesn't focus on this because this part here will not further drive the conspiracy theory further down the line for more videos on it. So she leaves them all unfinished, no conclusion, open-ended.
Thank you, 2025.
And that's a problem because Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, we know that there was many different investigations into Jeffrey Epstein, but Jeffrey Epstein, it's done and over with because he's no longer alive. Therefore, there is no conclusion. Her entire investigative series into Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein may have had his New York case overturned, but he hasn't had the other ones overturned, and he's still sitting behind bars today. So her investigations are not really investigations. What she's doing is already taking with the dirty lying. Remember, they're dirty. Remember, they're corrupt. They're all bad. The feds, law enforcement, she takes what they've already done. Their hard work, their due diligence, their cases, their case files, their evidence, even the person that's responsible takes that and does her own investigation with it's a circle. It's circular. The whole while she's making you think that she's deep diving into this investigation because she's going to prove that there is law enforcement and federal agent corruption, but she never does that. In fact, she tried so hard to push Harvey Weinstein into, well, you must have stepped on somebody else's toes, somebody bigger than you. Why can't you say who it is? And he says, I have no idea. If I did that, it's possible. Or is it more likely that he truly did abuse his power, which he has said many times that he has, and that he did cheat on his wife multiple times, and that he did inappropriately do things to many people, and that it's not a coincidence all these people have come forward with their experiences, with their stories, and was some of them looking for a big payout? Yeah, probably. When somebody that's worth over $300-400 million gets into any kind of trouble like that, we see everybody come out of the woodwork, whether they're telling the truth or lying. Irrelevant. But the conclusion is still the same. Harvey Weinstein is still behind bars. But the whole while, she's using what the dirty, corrupt, lying law enforcement and federal agents, what they have done, and trying to make you think that they are corrupt. So how can you use psychiatry to manipulate an audience through content, specifically on your website or YouTube? Create a sense of connection through authenticity, sharing your story, showing your personality, engaging with the community, foster a sense of belonging. It's us or them, good versus evil, good versus bad. It's us, the righteous, versus those demons. That is psychological manipulation, my friend. Because you don't have to feel like you belong in this community or be psychologically manipulated by anybody, even Candace Owens, to like her or like her content. She shouldn't have to do that to get an audience to know and trust in her and the truth, which tells you it's anything but. Know your audience, solve a problem. Now, she's really good at making you think she's solving problems, but like I said, show me one investigation that has been concluded or has been solved. None, not since she's gone independent and hasn't been under mainstream media. Use storytelling. You have to use compelling narratives, and conspiracy theories are the most compelling narratives. There's no evidence and there's no proof for them. It's just hearsay. Creating intriguing titles and thumbnails. Evoke emotion ethically. Now that's very questionable because the way she's evoking emotions is very negatively through fear mongering and scaremongering.
See, here's the thing. Candace Owens is, always talking about facts don't care about your feelings. And yet, everything she says and does always has to have some sort of reference to how I feel, I discern. It's a matter of, this is how I want you to feel at the end of the day, once we get through looking at this email or watching this video. You all should feel this way. You all should be asking yourselves, is this Christian? Is this biblical? Where Rob McCoy is saying this, and he's saying, that you have to have evidence. But yet, he's not telling the truth about, the little things, the little lies. It's always a manipulation on feelings and emotions. But yet when she's challenged to produce evidence, such as, are the text messages real in your phone, Candace? What does she do? All of a sudden, she doesn't know how to use technology and plug in the phone so that everybody can see what's in her phone, just like she would if she's showing a video. She could literally have shared her phone screen in the video so we all could have seen it clearly. But even when she holds it up, she doesn't even hold it up to the camera. It's far away from the camera. She didn't tell the cameraman, can you come closer? Or let me get up so I can hold the phone up into the camera. We have no idea what it said or did. She just moved her fingers around it after being told what to type in Google in her own text messages. You would think you're pulling up these text messages by date, Candace, or by contact. If he's a contact in your phone, why are you searching for words in your text messages? Wouldn't you just go to your text messages and click on his contact name and pull up all the messages that you've had with him, with Charlie Kirk? She's literally having someone tell her in her ear what to Google search. In your text message? No. Just click on his name and scroll through. If you already know, you could tag those messages. You could put a star next to messages. So when you go into the contact, if you start the message, it'll take you automatically to those start messages. You can sort those out separately. Those are small little things that she can do to prove that a text message is real. Oh, and make sure that there's a date and time stamp. She doesn't do that, but she wants to talk about the FBI forging something. But yet another content creator went on Twitter X and broke down exactly how she's forging her text messages. And that was her response. You could have just asked me and I would have just showed you. Now, no. Now we all have evidence on how you're creating these text messages and how you're faking them. What he did was he put you out on blast. And now we know exactly how you're forging these texts and what we should see when you do show us a text. Because iPhones are iPhones. The way you view text messages doesn't really drastically change. You can change the color, background. But the basic schematics of what you expect to see in a text message for an iPhone, they're all the same. Fundamental things she could prove to be true. She doesn't. Where's the video of Tyler Robinson walking with the woman? She said she was going to get that video and show us all. Where is it, Candace? Where's that video you claim the FBI proctored? Wouldn't you have the raw footage? How about her saying that no one had blood on them as if Charlie Kirk did not bleed? Now you're defying science, but never mind. Hospitals have cameras as well. Don't you think that the hospital footage would show the security coming in with Charlie Kirk and it would show them covered in blood? See, that's evidence. But she wants her candy ass co-filers because they believe everything she says. She actually wants people with a brain that knows how to use common sense to think that there's no evidence out here on earth that exists where it would ever show these men walking to the hospital with blood covered on them. When the hospital has cameras in the entrance doors, in the entryway between the outside of the doors and then the little entryway and then coming into the ER itself, there are cameras all in the ER. There are cameras up and down the hallways. You know how I know, Candace? Because I'm the queen of this shit. I'm the queen of this. There are cameras in the ER. You can literally see them coming in through the doors, rushing in, and plot them along each camera. Why does she think that there will be no cameras in that hospital? I don't understand. There are cameras in the hospital, Candace. And you're still an idiot. Why not pull the camera footage? Why not get someone to view it from the hospital? Every hospital has security camera footages, at least on the outside and in the entryway of the ER. It would have shown them pull up. It would have shown them getting out the car with Charlie. It would have shown them covered in blood. And it would have shown them go through the double doors of the ER. Ask me how I know. You can't make this stuff up. Hospitals have cameras. They have surveillance cameras. They have security cameras. The difference is inside the hospital, what you don't have is a lot of sound because you don't want people's medical information being picked up. But it shows movement. And people can see someone in blood. Candace, you could have tried to see if there were security camera footages, hospital security camera footages throughout the hospital, and you didn't even mention the fact that hospitals have security cameras running 24/7. You can't make that stuff up. She didn't even try. I can do a Google Maps of the outside of the hospital, and it would show me the exterior of the hospital, and I can see the cameras. You can't make this stuff up. So I'll be showing that tomorrow. Because this is ridiculous. No one was covered in blood, Candace. Girl, stop. It's so crazy that she says things that makes no sense. Hospitals give that footage up to the FBI. And no, you dingus is not getting it. There are federal laws regarding evidence being released to the public. You can't be that dumb. And no, you don't deserve that. What I'm going to show tomorrow is the actual Google map of the actual, I'm going to show you all the camera footages around that hospital that I picked out and located. That's what I'm going to show. You can't make this stuff up. I'm not getting the inside of the hospital security footage. They're turning that over to the FBI. I'm pointing out where the cameras are. Because there are cameras in every hospital either way. And she's saying there's no blood. You can't make this up. They would have been captured on at least 2 security camera footages going into the double doors of the ER. That evidence is going to be shown in the hearing, in court for the trial. If anyone thinks that evidence is not going to be even obtained, you're crazy. You don't know how investigations work. Candace Owens does not get how court works, laws work, investigations work, none of that. Hospitals work, apparently, none of that. There is at least 2 cameras at the entry point doors of the emergency, of the ER doors. Then there's the entryway. 2 cameras at the doors. You can't make this up. Of course, they got caught in the camera. This is crazy. I'm still waiting on Candace to go to UVU and go film herself all these things she keeps saying is out there. It's insane. But this is what she thinks. She thinks that no one walked in with blood on them. No, okay. Oh, man. Let's get back to it. I'm so glad she's spilling the beans and she's, saying exactly what we're going to take a look at a couple articles dealing with cults and conspiracy theories in a second. But this is what she said a month ago, straight out of context. This is what she said a month ago. And it's unfortunate because people aren't really listening. They're just trying to be entertained. They want to go into sensationalism. You're being motivated by your emotions and you're not being driven by facts because Candace has not presented any. Even with the Macrons, Candace knows she needs DNA. That's why she sent my doctor, get a little blood, take care of this real quick because she knows she needs the DNA, the blood of the first lady. And she did ask for it. Because that's the only DNA evidence you would need to prove someone is genetically born a man or a woman. you would need DNA. And she can't get it. That or an interview. So for her to even admit that she defamed them, she's just trying to say it was in Tennessee. That's it. That's enough in and of itself. She's not even denying it. She just thinks that saying someone is born a man as a fact is covered under the First Amendment. She also doesn't know how laws work either because she doesn't read. You can't make this stuff up.
Employing social proof. Honestly, she does this really great. Positive testimonials. Other big content creators are agreeing with me. Creator collaborations, audience shares, and it's always, let's get to the comment section. And the comment section is always blessing her, praising her, kissing her ass.
Yep.
Or giving her a $500 live gift. Incorporate interactive elements. Oh, but she wouldn't use the dirty, lying, corrupt federal agents and all of their evidence, right? No, not her. Build credibility and consistency. Post regularly, be transparent. But that's where she has a problem because she can't do this. She can't always show you. She shows you things, but she doesn't show you the proof. She makes you think she's showing you proof. But to blame the Utah law enforcement officials for being corrupt and this being a cover-up is blaming Charlie Kirk's own friend, now FBI Director Kash Patel. And I just don't buy it. I don't believe it. Most law enforcement officers are good, decent human beings. And the same can be said for any career. Do you know how much corruption is in content on YouTube? How many YouTube creators are corrupt, lying, and covering up? There are bad chefs. There are bad drivers. There are bad people that work at grocery stores that are lying or corrupt or covering up or are just bad people. Same can be said for doctors, pilots, any career. And this is coming from the same person who was allegedly helping push a GoFundMe for the law enforcement officer, the bad law enforcement officer who took the life of George Floyd. But now when it comes to an investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk, now she's going to go against the grain and not with it. But going against the grain is also going against his own personal friendship and business friendship with Kash Patel. I think they should be applauded and they should be awarded every respect for having not slept for almost 34 hours straight, having all of the FBI officers and the Utah law enforcement officers coming together to catch the person responsible and to bring them to justice, which they did. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Who do you call if there's an emergency? You call 911. You get central dispatch. What happens? Whether it be law enforcement or EMT, they respond. I would trust a law enforcement officer that I have never met before I would Candace Owens. I just genuinely have a lot more respect for law enforcement than to say they're all bad, they're all lying, they're all corrupt. Sure, there have been FBI agents, CIA agents in the past that have been bad or corrupt. That could be said for any religion, any faith. Going back thousands of years, there have been people in that particular faith or church that has been bad or corrupt. Is that the majority? Absolutely not. Does it reflect poorly on every Jewish person, every Muslim, every Christian or Catholic? Absolutely not. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. Occam's razor. Cut out all of the things that are just illogical, don't make sense, probably didn't happen. And your easiest, most logical, most simple answer is by probability the right one. Friend or not, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens had an equal audience. They have equal amounts of viewers and subscribers on YouTube. And the fact is, when she looks at what happened to Charlie Kirk, it's very hard for her to probably digest and accept that that could have been her. It very easily could have been her. It could be her in the future. That must be a very harrowing reality, especially when you really do put out hate and content that drives further division and discourse and
I'll do you one even better. She actually wants it to be her. Or she wants to invoke herself in this, but not for the right reasons or with the right motive. It seems like she's doing this for attention. Why would you want to wish someone to be following you or stalking you or trying to take a hit on you like this? But yet you don't want to go to the authorities to have this investigated? Wouldn't she take the time to find people who are trying to look for her, if that be the case? Wouldn't she just focus her investigation on that? Because I would. You think I would sit here and try to talk about Egyptian planes if I feel someone is following me, someone has a hit out on me? I want all of DHS, CIA, DOJ, to include the FBI, to help me find this person trying to take my life. Because Candace, you're married with 4 kids. And you don't have to tell your kids that their dad is never coming home. And instead of you concocting up all this crap about the death of Charlie Kirk, why don't you try to find the people that are out here allegedly trying to kill you? If that be the case, you're saying someone is sitting here, that bullet was meant for you. I need you to expand on that. If someone were to tell me that, let me tell you something. You're not going to just leave it at that. I want a full, thorough sit-down investigation with you. I got a lot of questions to ask you. If you're telling me that should have been me, this is not where we're leaving this conversation, Mr. FBI man. She claims somebody told her that. Oh, okay. So if you're telling me that should have been me, oh, okay, who is this person? Because obviously you know a lot more than you putting off. Do you think I'm gonna let somebody walk away because they claim to be with the DOJ after telling me it should have been you? What the hell? Nope. You and I finna order lunch. We finna sit down and have this conversation. How does that make sense? But yet and still, you have no further conversation. You don't do any interviews with this person. You didn't tell us that, oh, we went into a 14-hour long, detailed conversation because this man told me it should have been me. And then he says it at the wrong time. He says it after Charlie Kirk is assassinated. It should have been me. B, who we talking about here? You're not leaving this room until you tell me a name. I want all of them. I want all the names. Give me all the names. You cannot just say stuff like that and then just say, I'm going to let you walk away. Candace would have that all over her YouTube channel. Y'all, they trying to kill me. They trying to come for me, Lord. This man just told me that he's trying to, here's his whole name. She would be putting out everything about this person. Y'all need to help me find this idiot. He said it should have been me. I talked with FBI. They gave me the names. Obviously, they know it should have been me by who. So we finna find these people that so-called want to take me out of here. We finna find them. We finding all of them. You can't make this up. I don't care how many videos I would have to do. I'd be online all day. Y'all be like, what? Lady Luck Club streaming 14 hours straight. Yes, I am. Because somebody said they trying to kill me. Y'all go through this with me. I have all the mommy slews out here. Yeah, I saw that dude you was talking about. He had on them red Jordans. And then he was wearing those white socks with the butterfly tips. Uh-huh. Yeah, I saw him. He was at Walmart, girl. Mm-hmm. He was at the store. I took a picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he might be the second cousin removed, but we got a closer lead. You got your mind. You're gonna let somebody say it should have been you. I'm sorry. Come again? It should have been me. What do you mean? Man, if y'all don't find these people, I would literally be interrogating Tyler James Robinson myself if someone tells me it should have been me. Tyler, I heard you made a mistake. You was going for the wrong person. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of questions. I need you to sit down and have a conversation with me. You and I need to have a talk. You can't make this stuff up. Candace, if someone is truly out there trying to get you, why don't you go ahead and investigate that? And if you claim that Tyler Robinson is not the shooter, then who is? Because isn't the point to get the bad guy off the street? Isn't that the point? We still want the shooter. If you claim that it's not Tyler Robinson, who is it? This is the thing that the candy asses refuse to ask, and they have no idea either. Neither does Candace Owens. So, okay, so Tyler Robinson didn't do it. Okay, who did? Who did? You talking about Egyptian planes? You talking about a whole bunch of fluff. This is not being narrowed down to one person. So who did it? Let's get that person off the streets. Let's lock them up. Because there's a protection order in place for Erica Kirk and the 2 kids. So let's lock them up then. If he didn't do it, who did it? Who did it? After 2 months, she's no closer to telling us who the actual shooter is. And no one is asking these questions like, okay, at what point are we going to get close to this being narrowed down to one shooter? Who is the person? That's all I'm saying. Who's the person? Name the individual. Let's narrow this down. You're talking about Egyptians and the Macrons and all this crap. No, we need to narrow it down to an individual by now, after 2 months and all these mommy slews. That's all I'm saying. There's no way I would have somebody out here saying, oh, it should have been me. And then I'm not sitting here looking into that. Or it's not Tyler Robinson. He didn't pull the trigger. Okay, but then you can't say after 2 months of this nonsense who did it. You're no more closer to figuring out a shooter than anyone else. Got it. You can't make this stuff up.
Trust. Charlie Kirk ran around on college campuses and took people that go to that local college that he is at under a tent saying, prove me wrong, under that guise. And he largely embarrassed, I'm just saying, whether I like him or not, it doesn't matter. This is what he did. He embarrassed a lot of people with, I'm smarter than you, I'm more knowledgeable than you, my opinions, thoughts are right, and I'm going to debunk every single one of your points. He went around on college campuses and embarrassed young people. He then records it in several different angles and puts it on the internet forever for everybody to see, to comment on, to laugh at. If you don't think Occam's razor is that Charlie Kirk had more domestic enemies than he does foreign ones, then Candace Owens is not being truthful at all with her audience. Because the truth is, look at how many people celebrated and were overjoyed when he passed away. That right there tells you how many domestic enemies he truly had. And what Candace Owens might not understand is that she too has people that domestically do not like her. Mm-hmm. But that's what happens when you go down a very dark, very demonic path of unfounded conspiracy theories and planting seeds of mistrust in all of your audience members. And you create a cult and a cult-like mentality. You start seeing things like Reddit forums about beekeeping as some secret ancient code for child abuses and trafficking.
Which still has nothing to do with the person that could have pulled the trigger on that gun to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Nothing to do with it at all. Candace Owens gives all this filler and no facts. And it's like she deters and deflects more than anything else. And because you have this cult of personality, oh, how dare you ask a question that's outside of what she's saying? No. Don't have your own independent thought. Because cult members don't think. They react. They're reactionary. They're emotional. They don't know how to just say, you know what? I see the facts and I accept it. Because I don't see any other facts to debunk it. They still won't sit here and encourage Candace to go to the campus herself. It's like the idea of that, because that would be realistic. That would require her to actually see things for herself and have to tell the truth of what she saw, because she wouldn't be able to lie and make anything up. Because even if you're not recording Candace Owens, guess what? Other people are, because they know who you are. So they'll be out there live streaming you. You wouldn't be able to go out there and lie like hell and say, oh, I didn't go in that area, because then there'll be a camera on you showing you go in that area. See, that would be a part of reality that she doesn't want to face, because she wants to keep up this grift and this con, this scam, the lie. She wants to keep that going, because reality is she could go to the campus and find those underground tunnels or to figure out what was in that bush. But then it would have to force her to tell the truth about why it's not suspicious, or why these underground tunnels don't exist. Or if they do exist, they don't lead to this yard, or they don't come up through this trap door. There's no proof that one even existed. See, those are the things that she would have to tell the truth about. All those little lies that she has told, she wouldn't be able to keep compounding on top of it anymore. Because now she's going in person and everything's recorded on video. Why is that a complex thought for the candy ass cult members? Because they know it would debunk everything she's been saying. Ask reasonable questions based on facts. But her making things up that don't exist, that's what makes it the greatest lie ever. It doesn't even exist in this reality here on earth. We're not going to you all's alternate reality. The Lucksters, Lady Luck Club, we don't go into alternate realities trying to understand someone. They should be able to prove their point with facts and evidence here in this reality on earth, using logic and common sense and documentation. Not sit here and have to entertain the idea of some tunnels. We haven't been out there. We don't know if those tunnels exist or not. We have the right to doubt that nonsense just as much as she is trying to assume it. But she doesn't have to leave it at an assumption when she can go see for it herself. And they won't even tell her that much. They deter and deflect. They're doing it all in the comments. They deter and deflect. Why isn't anybody talking about this or that? Because it has nothing to do with the shooter or Charlie Kirk. And if you have any evidence alluding to someone actually being the shooter, then present the evidence. Present the documentation. They can't even present a photo or video of Tyler Robinson walking with a woman. But they here talk about how the FBI proctored it. So where's the raw footage? Go get it. To the mommy slews of Candace Owens. Go get the footage. Pull the video. Candace, you say you were going to pull up that video 2 months ago. You haven't produced it yet, you liar.
You say things like, I'm going to homeschool my children, pull all of your children out of school, don't get any of your kids vaccinated. Well, guess what? A lot of us are not worth $300 million with our spouse. You can sit there and say that you're going to homeschool all day long, but then you also say you have the money to hire teachers. That's not feasible or the reality for most Americans. And that is so out of touch with what most Americans go through and live with every single day. Also, the investigation into Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron. This is actually not Candace Owens' investigation. This belongs to a French man named Xavier Poussard. What she did was took his book, his hard work, his investigation. He translated it into English and she slapped her name on it and says Candace Owens presents an investigation by Xavier Poussard because she uses her mainstream media figurehead, her mainstream media audience to then spread his investigation, his book, everything that he was alleging as far as Brigitte Macron really being Jean-Michel Trogneux, using the identity of her younger sister. I have the book. I've read it 3 times. I've been learning French for close to 3 years now as well. I have looked into the lawsuit against Xavier Poussard and her lawsuit here, where she also lies and says that not only does she stake her entire life, professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron really is Jean-Michel Trogneux. She also says that
I'm gonna say this. I don't care if she homeschools her kids. One thing I don't do is sit here and try to dictate what people do with their own children. She want to homeschool her kids, that's on her. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care one way or the other if she wants to homeschool her kids. If she's got the money to get a nanny and a teacher and all this other stuff, counseling, all this stuff for her kids, let her do it. You know, I mean, I would love for my kids to go to private school. Can't afford it. But I don't sit here and those things that we can't or don't control, like someone's parent, like as long as she's not hurting the kids or abusing them or anything, she's homeschooling them. Like I don't have a problem with that. I don't care about that. So if I have to disagree with what this lady is saying is the aspect of homeschooling, I don't care. And I don't know if she's saying this is a bad thing. Maybe she has a different experience with it, but I don't personally care whether Candace Owens homeschools her kids or not. 2 or 3 of them look like they babies either way. But that's on her. Let her do what she want to do with her kids. I will say that. Let her do what she want to do with her kids. As long as she's not hurting them or abusing them, she's not harming them, they're being well fed, let her do what she wants to do with her kids. That's all I'll say to that. Because I'm a mom and I wouldn't want anybody to try to tell me how to raise my kids and the education they receive. All right, no, we're not doing it because you don't have to. I don't have to take care of Candace Owens' children. Only her and God and her husband have to do that. So this ain't to throw Candace a bone. This is just the point of fact. I don't do that. I don't sit here and regulate what people do with their kids. I just don't.
Tucker Carlson, that she does not want the investigation to be dismissed at all. At all. She wants it to go to trial because she wants to be able to prove 100% that she was correct. Not that she was correct, that Xavier Poussard is correct in his investigation that she used for content on her channel and brought to a bigger audience. She took somebody from a foreign country who doesn't speak English very well, took his investigation and helped spread it worldwide via YouTube channel.
I'm not, and even if, I mean, let's say she has an economic way of doing it. My whole overall point is, if Candace Owens wants to homeschool her kids, however she chooses to do it, that's on her. I've never commented about that. I don't care. She could do what she want to do with her kids. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to talk about her homeschooling her kids. Whatever she is or isn't doing, that's not for me to talk about. So yeah, if she homeschools them, that's great. If she's doing it or she's got someone else doing it, that's fine. I don't care. I think that's fair enough. We keep the kids out of it.
She says she doesn't want this $400+ million defamation lawsuit against her to be dropped because she wants to prove that she's correct, that Xavier Poussard is correct. But then what does she secretly and quietly do? She has her lawyers file a motion to dismiss. Not only are they claiming inappropriate venue in Delaware where all of her LLCs and her husband's LLCs and companies are registered at, but she's also trying to say that a foreign entity doesn't have the right to stifle an American's right to free speech. But free speech doesn't cover lies that amount to defamation, slander, libel, harassment, stalking, cyber stalking, harassment, none of that. It does cover the truth. So the one thing that got me the most is how much she is trying to say the federal agents they're covering up. They're covering up for the person who really took the life of Charlie Kirk, and that they're all bad, they're all corrupt. That Charlie was invited to Israel again by Bibi Netanyahu, that allegedly $150 million was offered to him to not change his views on Israel, which he didn't. He made that very well known that he did not ever change his views on Israel. The government of Israel and some of their choices in recent times may have been different. He may have had some disagreements. He also was allegedly praying the rosary and attending mass. His wife and his pastor have come out and said that that is absolutely not true. He went to Catholic churches all the time because he loved the architecture of the church. But he was very devout in his own faith, unlike some other people. Also, the fact that Candace Owens would have the audacity to tell that pastor to release everything he knows or sit down and basically shut up is disgusting, because he would have never said anything like that to her Catholic priest had this tragedy been hers. Of tactics draw you in to keep coming back. Trust me, I know, because I was one of the people that was constantly coming back to watch her content. It's getting to be ridiculous, though. Give us the person who really did it then. Because if you say you're going to solve the murder of your friend Charlie Kirk, you better not come up with the same person that the dirty, lying federal...
No. Hold on. Did that skip?
I didn't want to leave it.
Went to Catholic churches all the time because he loved the architecture of the church. But he was very devout in his own faith.
Sorry,
it seemed
like a skip.
Also, the fact that Candace Owens would have the audacity to tell that pastor to release everything he knows or sit down and basically shut up is disgusting.
Yeah, that is. Let me speak to that. First of all, Candace Owens should not be out here attacking any pastor for any reason, especially Charlie Kirk's pastor. Because if she trusted Charlie Kirk to make good, sound spiritual decisions, why is it that she can't trust that he chose to have the pastor in his life that he supports? Why sit here and disrespect this man of God? That's the pastor that Charlie Kirk chose to follow. That is the pastor that Charlie Kirk felt was one that could, be the shepherd of his guided, just to guide him. Shepherd of the flock, how the Bible refers it to. Pastors ought to be like shepherds over the sheep. They're not there to control them. They're there to guide them. Under the guidance of the Holy Spirit and of the Word of God. They're there to simply guide and to teach the Word of God. And this is the man that Charlie Kirk chose to be his pastor. Period. She should have nothing to do with that. She would not be insulting or ridiculing Rob McCoy if Charlie Kirk were alive. How do I know that? Because where is any video evidence to prove that she did this before he died? Show me one video link where Candace Owens disrespected Rob McCoy before Charlie Kirk died. And she did it all over her YouTube channel. I want one video or a post where she did this while he was alive. That's what I want. Give me one video, one post, one video, one piece of evidence. That's it. Show me the post, show me the email, show me the video of where she disrespected Rob McCoy when Charlie Kirk was still alive here on earth to defend himself and his pastor before he died. I don't care about what happened. I'm asking right now before he died. Show me one post, one video of Candace Owens disrespecting Rob McCoy. Come on. To the candy asses. Come on. Y'all follow her every move. You should know, right? Let me see the evidence. Before Charlie Kirk died, if you understand words and terminology, before, meaning before he was shot, before the tragic incident of him being assassinated, one video, one post of her disrespecting Rob McCoy while Charlie Kirk was alive here on earth in this reality. I want the proof. Because if you can't find a video or a post of while Charlie Kirk was alive, of Candace Owens disrespecting Rob McCoy, that should give you some indication she didn't do it because she knew better. She knew Charlie Kirk was not going to put up with that. She knew she can't even prove that they had any communication 1 year up until his death. She wants to pretend like they were close the whole time. They weren't. And how are you close with someone and you don't even hear and talk about a spouse? Why hasn't she had Erica Kirk on her show? Why didn't she invite Erica Kirk to her home? Why didn't she go to Erica Kirk's home to check on her? For someone that loves somebody so much, you think I would have allowed anything to interfere with me going to his memorial or his funeral? That's insane. There's nothing that would keep me from going to his memorial or his funeral service. And here I am calling myself being an investigator, to which she's not, because she's not licensed or certified or educated to be one. But yet, while Charlie Kirk was alive, not one video, not one post of her disrespecting Rob McCoy or Mikey McCoy or Frank, none of these people that he loved and considered to be friends. His spiritual leader. Not one, because she knew better. She knew Charlie Kirk would have chewed her out. Her and all of her cult members would have gotten it that day. If she disrespected Rob McCoy while he's alive on earth to defend himself. You got Kanye West apologizing to a Jewish rabbi. Thank you. Why hasn't she said anything about that? Kanye West has apologized to a Jewish rabbi. Candace Owens has not said a word about that. But yet, she was listening to Kanye West the day of Charlie Kirk's funeral, talking about, why would I go out there if people are after me? You think they're the only one they're after? Allegedly? That's if they're after you. Let's just say she has some credible threat. Wouldn't Erica Kirk's life be in even more danger? Seeing that she was actually the wife of Charlie Kirk? Candace, you're not Charlie Kirk's wife. You never were. You never were the wife. Erica Kirk's life would be in more danger than yours because someone shot her husband. But she was there, of course. There were other people whose lives may have been in danger. They showed up. So it's not an excuse, and I don't buy the BS. But you want to sit here and say that no one else should be talking about, I'm the only one investigating this. No one told you to investigate anything. You're not producing any evidence either way. Don't care. But disrespecting Rob McCoy is deplorable and disgusting, and Candace will reap what she sows. And anyone else that ever coincided and co-signed off on that, anyone that's ever stood in agreement with her doing that, God doesn't forget any of that. That man has never done anything to any of you people personally. Rob McCoy has never done anything wrong to Candace Owens directly. She started attacking him. And she would have never done it if Charlie Kirk was alive. She's a coward. She was a target. She would go find out who it is. She would be looking into that. She does things that make no sense. And she won't go to UVU to find out if any of this stuff she's saying is true. Make stuff up. And she doesn't try to verify it with evidence. I don't care about what she says. I care about the evidence she produces. That's it. Because if she can lie, why would I believe anything she says? Even I posted up the email from the school where he said that she was awarded a degree. Because I care about getting facts out there. If I just wanted her to look bad, I wouldn't have posted up that email response from the University of Rhode Island. Candy asses don't think about that. If you're going to tell the truth, you got to tell the truth, whether you like it or not. I posted up that email because I wanted people to see I don't have a problem releasing the truth. Yeah, it still sucks. I have a lot of questions about it. But that's the truth. She won't do that. I don't care what she says. I want to see what evidence she has. Because that's how it works in court. You're going to insinuate someone committed a crime, a heinous crime like a murder, in front of thousands of people. The court won't care about what you say. It's all about what you can prove. She said perception was 9/10 of the law. That is false. It is possession is 9/10 of the law. She can't even get a simple quote right because she doesn't read or research anything. Possession is 9/10 the law, Candace, not perception. Two totally different words with two totally different definitions. These are things that what the heck is wrong with her? Reading is fundamental. Just Google it. Same thing with the copyright strikes. Just Google it. So I don't care what Candace says until she starts to prove with evidence that the average person, anyone else, just like you all, could easily pull up the hospital address, go down to the Google Maps, and all you have to do is an aerial view. And it'll take you around the hospital. You can see all the cameras that are placed. That's something the public can do. It's not some secret thing for me. So that's at the very least gives you some insight on the FBI definitely has that surveillance footage from those cameras. The moment Charlie goes in with the men carrying him. Dumb lies she tells about, oh, no one's covered in blood. A video would debunk that. Like, it's so stupid. Eyewitnesses, people who worked in the hospital will all be able to debunk that. People saw the head of security covered in blood. Erica Kirk saw it. Is she going to call Erica Kirk a liar? Is she calling Erica Kirk a liar? I'm asking thought-provoking questions here. So if you're not trying to think, I don't care. I don't do whataboutisms. I don't do deflections. None of that. Wouldn't the eyewitnesses in the hospital be able to testify to the head of security being covered in blood? They were there at the hospital. Wouldn't Erica Kirk be able to testify to that? So is she going to call Erica Kirk a liar? If Erica Kirk said, yeah, the head of security was covered in blood. I saw him myself. Would she call him a liar for that? Candace doesn't do any research. She won't even Google possession is 9/10 the law. She said perception. She was wrong on something simple. So these are things that can be debunked with witness testimony and security footage. I don't do whataboutisms. It makes no sense. All right, let's get back to this one. I think this is the end of this, and then we're gonna go straight
Because
into the
he
next
would
one.
have never said anything like that to her Catholic priest had this tragedy been hers. Things I know. I'm going to talk.
Okay, so it did go to the next one. All right, so this is the new one she did 4 days ago. And I'm glad she did an updated version of this. I would love to see, the updated revenue, because that kind of speaks to Candace Owens doing this for money and for no other reason, because she hasn't produced any results that would be valuable for anything. It would never hold up in court. Candace would never be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone else pulled the trigger. You know why? Because she's not trying to find that. She's just trying to keep things spinning. She's recycling her stupid conspiracy theories. She's not really trying to find out who did that, who pulled the trigger. None of the crap she said, because it has no evidence to support it, would hold up in court. And that's where it matters the most. She won't even give it to a police officer or an FBI agent or an investigator or the prosecutor even to get the actual real shooter off the street if she had the information. Candace, wouldn't that be lying by omission? Withholding? That's also interference and obstruction. Can't make this stuff up. And these are words that I'm sure she has not looked up and defined. And since she hasn't said it, I don't expect the candy asses to know that either, because they don't read either.
Oh my goodness, I'm about ready for bed, but I wanted to make this video just really quickly because I wanted to go over the video that Candace Owens did tonight. And she typically does videos for her YouTube channel, her content, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sometimes she does videos on Friday, but it's pretty rare. Now, you guys know that I've talked about this before in some of the deep dives that I've done about Candace Owens, specifically in the last 2 months, because I was following her investigations, the open-ended investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, who she spoke to, and she was trying to get him to confess to her whose toes did he step on, what Jewish person, what big millionaire from Israel or Zionist, toes did he step on. And he's like, well, I don't know, because there is nobody, with how wealthy and how much power he had. So that investigation really kind of went not anywhere. It's open-ended, like I said. Jeffrey Epstein, her investigation into him is open-ended, just a bunch of information that's already been given already to the public. Basically just piggyback riding off of what the federal government has already done. And that's the thing with Candace Owens, is she's really big on all law enforcement, especially the CIA, the federal government, the feds. They are corrupt, they're lying. Now, I think that's just disingenuous and dishonest to say that every single federal agent or law enforcement officer is dishonest. And I think that is also not in line with Republican views, conservative views, because typically they support Blue Lives Matter. But Candace Owens hasn't been a Republican her whole life. In fact, the majority of her life, she was a Democrat, a liberal. And I don't know if you guys know who Laura Loomer is, but she exposed on X not a long back that she's known Candace Owens. She even posted a picture of her and Candace Owens together a few years back, and how Candace Owens came to her asking her for advice on how she can revamp her image as a conservative African-American woman. And I started thinking, okay, this is weird. But it was her behavior after Charlie Kirk was assassinated that really made me pull back, because I was into her investigation into Brigitte Macron, who was allegedly really born Jean-Michel Trogneau. And if you don't know, the president of France, his name is Emmanuel Macron, and he is married to the First Lady of France. You're talking about a president of the Republic of France today. And he's almost done with his second terms. I think their terms are 5 years. So he's in his second term and he's almost done. Right. But his wife, Brigitte Macron, is allegedly transgender. Now, I was into this investigation because there's a book. I own the book. I have read the book 3 different times. This is not Candace Owens' investigation, although she staked her entire career and professional reputation on this investigation. This investigation was actually...
And their attorney said, oh, okay. We'll challenge you to that, because this comes down to DNA. This comes down to scientific evidence. That's the only way, irrefutable proof that you can produce to prove that someone was born a specific gender. You need scientific DNA. If they had some sort of sex change, you would need their medical records. I mean, these are things that are just tangible, irrefutable evidence. Because here in this reality, we don't operate on her conspiracy theories. I don't care if it's in a book. I don't care. Where's the DNA? Where's the scientific evidence for that? That's it. It's that simple. she complicates things and overlayers it with this nonsense and books. And the other two French journalists, who, by the way, have been sued. They lost, they went and appealed, and then the court reversed the ruling, and then that is being appealed now. So that matter is still being heard in appellate court in France. There's an active appeal sitting on that with the two French journalists. Candace is not thinking about the fact that Brigitte Macron has given birth 3 times. She's taken away this woman's motherhood, her whole womanhood. She doesn't care about her children, her grandchildren, none of that. But Candace wants people to consider her kids. I don't have a reason to attack them. I'm just saying, Candace, you don't have the right to sit here and take away somebody's motherhood. How do you think her grandchildren feel even seeing something like this? And then wondering if their grandmother is a real woman or their grandmother. And Candace still has no scientific evidence to prove it. You can't make this stuff up.
Brought by a man named Xavier Poussard. That's why at the end of her investigation into Brigitte Macron, she sits down with Xavier Poussard. Xavier Poussard is a French man who is currently living in Spain, I believe, because for 9 years he did an investigation. He even fought the French government because after 50 years, class photos and all of those things are supposed to
pause right here. That's not evidence. You need evidence, scientific evidence. And the fact that none of that crap will work in court is what I mean by why candy ass cult members, they don't care. They think that's called evidence. No, it's not. There's certain allegations that warrant specific evidence. Alleging someone to be one gender over the other is a matter of science, biology, and human anatomy. You need DNA. That's how it will go in court. That's why she's going to lose, because they're bringing scientific evidence. The judge does not care about all these dumb books and all these other things that she's brought up. They care about the scientific evidence. That is what the judge will ask. Period. So if she can't produce any scientific evidence, because this is a matter of biology and human anatomy, to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man, or any medical records to show that there was some sort of operation on a sex change, she's going to lose. Was Candace ever... Is she still MAGA? Is she still Republican? What is her stance on this stuff? Because I know she mentioned that in the beginning. Is she still Republican? Does she even claim herself to be Republican or conservative? What the hell is Candace now?
To be kind of like our Freedom of Information Act request, kind of like a sunshine law, where you're allowed to get those things, and they were not giving him the pictures that he requested of Jean-Michel Trogneux when he was young in school. I mean, he eventually won, but it took him years of fighting the government to be able to get those. But all of his evidence proves pretty conclusively. So Candace Owens, what she did was she used her mainstream audience here on YouTube, her show, to be able to launch Xavier Poussard's investigation globally, worldwide, to an English-speaking audience, because he doesn't speak English very well. So I was very much into the book, and I've read the book 3 times. And I said, wow, Xavier Poussard really has, but she took his investigation and she brought the book into an English, because he doesn't speak English very well. And she brought his investigation to an English-speaking mainstream audience, because a lot of people don't realize today that somebody that has 5.5, 6 million followers on YouTube, they are mainstream now, because there's a lot more people that are watching people like Candace Owens on YouTube, her content, than there are looking at the New York Post or even the Daily Mail and their websites, let alone are people buying obscure magazines and newspapers anymore when they could just Google something for free. So I, of course, read the book 3 different times, and there is Xavier Poussard. He's onto something there. And I don't think that there's a problem with Jean-Michel Trogneux being Brigitte Macron, but the fact is his little sister is Brigitte Macron. So you're talking about identity theft, whether or not Brigitte Macron allowed him to do it and is okay with him doing it and was paid off to do it and is in hiding somewhere or has passed away. Either which way, that's illegal in the Republic of France. Not only that, but she and Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, met when he was 14 and she was allegedly 39. He was a student, she was a teacher. And it got so bad that Emmanuel's parents had to pull him out of school to get him away from this teacher of his. So you're talking about really true grooming and pedophilia. But they allegedly married in 2007. And if it is true that Brigitte Macron is really Jean-Michel Trogneux, who has been assuming the identity of his younger sister and transitioned at some point, then they couldn't have legally married in 2007 because that wasn't legal in the Republic of France, I think, until 2013. So that means that their marriage couldn't have happened until after that legally. That could be a reason why maybe Jean-Michel Trogneau was assuming the identity of his younger sister, Brigitte, because it's a real female, somebody that really has birth certificate and all of that. But he also would have had to assume her life, things that happened in her life, things that were linked back to her life, such as a marriage, children, et cetera, while trying to wipe his own. So it's strange to say the least, but she has also sat down with Tucker Carlson, and she has said,
it's so funny. She did this for how many months? And the Candace is sitting here saying she's putting America first. How's that putting America first? Talking about the president of France. He's not the president of the United States. Emmanuel Macron is the president of France. How's that putting America first? See, when you say things that are hypocritical, the only thing we can do is laugh at you people. How is that putting America first when she's sitting here harping over what's going on in France? Why even talk about this if America's first? And let's not forget now, Candace Owens does not produce evidence. Why do you all think she said, I have my doctor come fly out, get a little blood, get this resolved right quick? Because she knows that's what she needs. She knows she needs blood. She knows she needs DNA. I don't expect the, aspect of science and human anatomy and physiology to be a concept that bots and cult members are well equipped to know, because they don't research or Google that. You can't go to court saying that someone's born a man, and then the idea of DNA evidence somehow is not a concept to you. It's something that's foreign to you. This is based on physiology and human anatomy. You can't say clearly there's something there when you can't say genetically or physiologically if it's there. You have no confirmation of that. You have no medical records. You have no DNA test. You have no genetics testing. You have none of that. Those are the things you need. She presented zero evidence in those areas. Zero. She staked her career on this. Okay, Candace. Wish granted. You're going to lose it. They come in with DNA evidence. That's going to be it. The end. And then she's trying to sit here and say now the Macrons are guilty, or they have something involved or have something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. She's saying they have something to do with it because there's a hangar that's owned by some French guy that paints planes. What does that have to do with finding the person that pulled the trigger again, Candace? What does any of that have to do with the person that pulled the trigger? A hangar, painting planes, French owner, the Macrons again, talking about the DHS, the FBI in a building where her attorneys work, putting over 200 attorneys at risk. What does any of that have to do with, here's another person that was there that ran away that may have had parts of the gun? Like anything related to that. She can't even stay on focus with this because it's called deflection. It's called deterrence. It's called let me add on all this other nonsense. And whatever she says, she's got at least 5 million people that believe every word. They don't challenge that. They still will not say, why don't you just go to UVU and see for yourself what's underground? I can't stress that enough. She can just go to the campus herself and see in person and do a live stream shout since she wants to put America first. Why worry about what's happening with anything involving France? Why care about a hangar that's owned by any person from France or French people painting a plane in this hangar? Why even care about that if you America first? You see the hypocrisy in this? It's so stupid. It's not even because they don't think, so they're not going to challenge her on that. But the hypocrisy of this is so dumb. You're talking about a French president and the hangar is owned by a French person and they're painting planes. I'm sorry, what is this? How did we get here? We're supposed to be talking about any other person that left the campus of UVU that may have pulled the trigger. Why are you talking about a French hanger? We don't care about that. She's talked about everything except what goes on in America. She's talked about Meghan Markle. She's talked about France. She's talked about wanting to go to Russia. Any of the candy asses have a problem with that? Any person have a problem with her saying she wants to be Russian now? And she wants to move to Russia? The candy ass is okay with that? Y'all good with that? Because that's not America first. Y'all good with her wanting to actually go to a country that we're not even allies with? I'm just saying. So why even, I don't see why stop her, but why sit here and say she puts America first when most of the things she talks about is not even based in America? And then when she does talk about something that happens in America, she won't even go to the campus to find out for herself what's over there. I mean, it's just what it is. She's made a whole thing out of this. And she's incorporating everything else. We're back to the Egyptian planes. What's going to be next week, Candace? What conspiracy theory is going to be recycled next week? Next week, we'll be back to the hospital and the doctors. Simply because I brought it up. Yep. See, I called this last week where I said to all the Luxers, put a 1 in the chat if you recall me saying by next week she'll be talking about the Egyptian planes again. Put a 1 in the chat if you recall me saying that. Because I know her pattern. She said last week, I said, watch, next week, you all, she's going to be talking about the Egyptian planes again. Put a 1 in the chat if you recall me saying it. Put a 1 in the chat. 1's in the chat if you recall Lady Luck Club saying she'll be talking about the Egyptian planes next week. And I'd be darned if she didn't start doing that. So next week, she'll be talking about the hospitals and the surgeons and the doctors again. She'll be trying to get that footage. Candace, because I know you listening, you heifer. She'll be talking about the hospitals next week. She'll be talking about the doctors next week. The surgeons, the autopsy report. She'll be back to that next week. It's a pattern. It's a freaking pattern with her. She has no concept of doing it on her own. It's a pattern with her. I can predict what she's going to talk about with her recycling of conspiracy theories. Because it's a pattern. She's exhausted the French thing. She's already outed her own attorneys in the building that they work at in Delaware. She'll be back to the hospital on the surgeons, on the doctor that performed the autopsy, on all the nurses that were there, whether they really saw somebody covered in blood. Pulling up the hospital to see if the cameras are there because, she's listening. She'll be doing all that next week. Y'all get ready for it. And then I'm going to come back and say, I'm just going to do an epic I told you so. Because you can't make this up. Let me get forward. I'm going to fast forward through this because this whole Brigitte Macron thing is off-putting. I'm going to be honest. Because you need DNA and scientific evidence. Bottom line. Let's go.
Videos about the Charlie Kirk investigation.
Okay, here we go.
Now, this is my whole problem, and I've said this from the beginning. She can't at the very end be like, oh, guess what? Tyler James Robinson is the one that did it, because then she's just piggyback riding off of the dirty, lying, corrupt federal agents. And the federal agents aren't the one that brought this investigation. They only helped Utah law enforcement to bring this investigation because they're the ones who brought the indictment and the charges against Tyler James Robinson. I have all 10 pages.
Yes, because the Utah, they have jurisdiction over it. The FBI is aiding in the investigation. But the Utah, the prosecutors, all of that, they have jurisdiction over the case. Y'all do know that. Because the crime was committed in Utah. And the district that the crime was committed in, that's where the court will have that jurisdiction over the matter. So that's just an FYI. If you don't understand how jurisdictions work, that's how it works.
I've showed it multiple times throughout my videos, deep diving this. I even have the entirety of the letter from Charlie Kirk to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, where he is just endlessly offering his help, his suggestions, and how to help Israel garner more, not just national, but global support, American support. And
Thank you,
Candace has
Megan.
made
That's all I
some
was
pretty
doing.
bold claims,
Thank you.
but she does that all the time. She's made some really weird connections to things that have nothing to do with the, the investigation into Charlie Kirk. They found the person who did it. But see, this is the thing. If you look back at a lot of assassinations, look at President Garfield, look at Abraham Lincoln, look at JFK, Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. My mother has, God love her, she's 73. She's lived to see quite a few of these. And we were actually talking about this because when Martin Luther King Jr. Was assassinated, she was actually in Memphis because my grandmother's only sister and her children all live in Memphis or are from the Memphis area. So it was not uncommon for my mom and my aunts and uncles, my grandparents to go down to Memphis all the time, especially during the summer. And when you think
let's go for it.
Content was going to these college campuses, prove me wrong across the banner and debating these young college kids while telling them that college is a scam, right?
Yes, she was.
So when you think of it from another perspective, like you don't have to be a Democrat or a liberal to try to understand from that perspective how some people could come to not only hate, but have this kind of rhetoric towards Charlie Kirk, where they feel he is spreading hate. And that doesn't take necessarily being radicalized. When we look at a lot of gun violence, you'd say, oh, you have to be sick in the mind to be able to do something like that. But it's less than 25% of all of these types of mass violence incidents. Does the perpetrator have a truly mental illness or mental disability? People can very much be aware of what they're doing and plot and plan things out. And it's kind of hard to rationalize in your own mind how somebody could do something so evil, knowingly do something so evil, but it happens every day in America. It's crazy that we have 340 million American citizens, and yet we have close to 500 million armed, just guns, just armed weapons. That's insane. That's enough for every single one of America's citizens to have one, plus half of us to have a second one. Like, that's how many there are. So access isn't really necessarily an issue. But looking at it from somebody else's perspective, a young 22-year-old, say their politics and their religion doesn't align with Charlie Kirk's, and they feel that Charlie Kirk was spreading so much hatred. There's a lot of those. There's lots of college campuses that Charlie Kirk has visited in the last, 13 years? He started Turning Point at 19, and he was nearly 32. So you're looking at almost 13 years. So it's not that hard to fathom that some of these young adults might look at Charlie Kirk and think that he's spreading hate, that he's coming to your campus, that they might feel that way. This is what I'm saying. You got to look at it from a different perspective. They might feel that he's being condescending by saying, prove me wrong. And yet nobody can prove him wrong. They might feel like his tone is not very warm or welcoming, that he's not educating with kindness, that he's being condescending. They might feel like him coming to their turf, to their campus, and doing those things, especially at nearly 32 years old and making content. Okay.
Let me ask y'all this. Y'all think that Candace Owens was trying to mimic Charlie Kirk? Because that's what I get the feeling on that. This is my feeling on this. Do you all think that Candace Owens was trying to mimic Charlie Kirk? I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Do y'all really think she was trying to mimic Charlie Kirk? Because I don't get the feeling that she would have been able to do or say the things that she said just kind of on her own accord. Because it's like like her recycling her conspiracy theories and relying on her tip line. She doesn't originate a thought on her own. The Macron thing, that was already a story in France. But I get the feeling she doesn't come up with original ideas. And when it came to her, working with Turning Point, it's like she was trying to just mimic Charlie Kirk, but trying to put her own spin on it. And then you see where it just fell short. When she was dogging out the idea that college is a scam, right? Because I played the video in a separate video I've done. I played the snippet of that video. And then she goes back and talks about how she's had 2 degrees when she was on Piers Morgan's show. But yet, here you were working with Turning Point, and you're dogging out the idea of somebody going to college, calling it a scam. Now, does college cost a lot of money in the U.S.? Yes. But why lie about having 2 degrees? Why not show your degrees off? Why lie about, and I'm saying lie about 2 degrees because they confirmed that URI, that she had a degree, was awarded. But why put that out there, but you don't show the degrees itself? She's too much of a narcissist not to prove, hey, I have 2 degrees. Here they are. They're hanging on the back of my wall. So when she's presented with an opportunity to challenge something, and to present evidence, she doesn't. And then the way she spoke and worded things, her it seems like it was just a copy and paste from Charlie Kirk. And it's just kind of, it makes me wonder, was she ever original in any of this? Was it ever real? Did she ever mean any of this stuff? Because if you sound like you're just mimicking what he was able to do. Charlie Kirk was able to, I didn't watch a whole lot of his stuff. I did watch a couple of his debates, right? Just for the purpose of researching, because I wasn't watching his stuff before he passed. But he was able to come back with witty remarks, to be able to give back responses, even at times be able to give some statistics. And he was able to quote this stuff off the top of his head. So he was knowledgeable in the areas he needed to be knowledgeable in to be able to have a debate. But when it comes to Candace, we've seen her interview with CNN. We've seen her, I've seen parts of a video where it was her 13 feminists or something like that. It always comes down to her just being condescending and trying to belittle the people, or it's a word salad, or she gets caught up in semantics. But it's never just a fair argument with a fair point being made with some references or something cited. It wasn't like how Charlie Kirk was able to do it. And so to me, it's like she was trying to mimic and never really understood the art of debating or being able to come up with an original idea, express that point, provide evidence, and put together something, even with content for a show. That's her own true work here. And I think she did it with the BLM. What she did with that was just because of her, hatred for the idea of a Black Lives Matter movement like that. Not saying that the president shouldn't be where she is, because that lady definitely deserves to be in jail. She stole money. So I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're a man or woman. You're going to steal a bunch of money and you scam people and you don't do what you say you're going to do with it. You should be charged. You should go to jail. Period. But since Charlie Kirk is gone, it's like whatever she was able to try to get off him as far as his ideas, the way he thought, if you put a video of hers next to a video of his show, I see a lot. It's too close to just similarities. It's just too close to where you're almost not seeing the line drawn. Almost like she studied him, studied his show, studied the way he debated, and then tried to mimic that, as opposed to just doing it her way as an original idea. That's how I feel. If you put a Charlie Kirk debate and you watch that, and then you go watch Candace Owens CNN interview, you're like, what? This is like not. It's like she's not really. She can't be condescending. Like he wasn't. His tone was off-puttish, but he would say something that would at least invoke some logical thought, right? Get people thinking. Have people kind of standing back and just kind of digesting and saying, there's a point to it. But then she does the same exact thing. You watch a video of her doing the same thing, having a debate or doing an interview. And it's like, what the hell what is she saying? You're confused most of the time. She gets caught up in the word they. Simple question was asked. Who do you mean when you say they? Who are you referring to other than Jewish people? If you're not referring to the Jews, who are you referring to? Why are we caught up in this and they? Why does that matter? They is a they. It's a simple question. You ask Charlie Kirk the same thing, he will be able to answer it. He will be able to say, well, here's what I'm referring to. If I say they, I mean, if not Jewish, then I'm speaking of conservatives, or I'm speaking of liberals, or I'm speaking of, Democrats, or I'm speaking of specific, countries. I'm speaking of Australia. Like he would be able to answer the question. It just seemed to be a lot of her mimicking in his demeanor, trying to mimic his persona, the way he conducted himself in interviews. Just watch the video. Watch a video of him doing an interview or a debate, and then watch a debate with Candace or an interview with Candace and anyone else. And I picked that up and I noticed that when she was speaking with Turning Point about college being a scam. It's like, oh, you majored in gender studies. Well, she allegedly got 2 degrees with journalism and English. How would her degrees give anyone a better skill set than someone in gender studies? Wouldn't that to me be all the same? She can't go out and get a direct job doing something directly with English. She can go be an English teacher. Well, who says they can't be a teacher? Who says they wouldn't be able to get a job with their degree? Like it was just weird. And it was like, what is she trying to do here? She's trying to sound like she's speaking like Charlie Kirk and she's missing the mark. That's just my thoughts on it. It's not always a good thing when you don't know how to do it well. When you don't read and you don't get facts and evidence and documentation, you're bad at debating. She's bad at interviews now. Everything's emotional for her. It's not. She could do her own thing and do it her way. But it just seems like she's trying too hard to emulate something that she's not. And then when you see the true person and who she is, it's like, that's disgusting. You're willing to lie. You're willing to sit here and fudge information. You're manipulating the truth. Or you make a statement and you want somebody to respond to it, and then you produce a whole show out of it. You're not creating anything on your own accord with your own ideas, your own content, with research you've done. You're taking tips out of a tip line and you're going with that. You're not vetting it. She has no way to vet her tips. All because she built her whole persona off of mimicking someone. And now she doesn't really know how to do it by herself. I can tell when she's off script with her show. She starts stammering and stuttering. Like, these are the things that it's like, why? Create your own content. Do some research. She does not even try to vet her tips. So, for anybody taking Candace seriously, I just, I question your mental state. I really do.
That's a psychological campaign. That is what the war is nowadays. And I want to just encourage all the YouTubers and all the mommy sleuths. This is Project Mommy Sleuth, really, to keep going, to keep sending us emails. And we are going to solve this thing.
Why she can't do it herself?
Intelligence Agency is going to solve this thing. And like I said, we're going to tell you right now tomorrow.
Right there.
It's just, we're getting somewhere.
Come back tomorrow. Got to get the views.
Yeah, because it's too much for her to research it herself. She's just lost to the wind. She has no idea what she's doing. And she's not an investigator. Impersonating an investigator is a felony. She won't even do that. She won't even follow the law. You don't have any respect for the rule of law. You're okay with people being cyber harassed and cyber stalked and bullied and doxxed. Those are cyber crimes. When you're okay with all of that, obviously she doesn't care about lying. So she wants you all to send her the information while she does what? She could have already gone to the campus herself and did some sort of live stream show where she's asking questions. She won't even do that. And that's simple.
Tomorrow, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we have? We have a comment from the Paleo Rides. Right. Hi, Candace. I know you are on the right track. I've been watching daily and I was active on X. Well, until I called out Israeli propaganda and then I was permanently suspended. I had to drive from Arizona to X headquarters in Texas to ask for a review and finally won my freedom 2 weeks ago. They are bigly mad. Yeah. They are going to be running an operation on X. It's obviously military bots. Like I said, they post, if I make one mistake, it's like the trending topic for 3 days. And then when I drop truth,
me, I.
To say that
this is how she handles making a mistake. Why are you whining about it? You made a mistake and then you keep living. This is what I mean. It's the narcissism. It's the narcissism for me. She doesn't read and research though, because she wants the mommy sleuths impersonating agents to do that. Because that's a whole crime.
Have not dropped any facts.
It's you're one with her.
To try to suggest that we have not dropped facts when we have been the ones breaking virtually every story on this. And of course,
what story has she broken on this?
Same thing. Ricardo Piquena writes, because I know we are completely and unconditionally loved and everything will be okay. It sucks that we are losing real human beings to their games. Keep searching for truth. Yeah, we're stumbling upon it. U.S. flagpole guy writes, Mommy Max for the wrong side of the tracks, doing David stuff with her truth acts with class. You got me rapping out here. Thank you for that donation. Friendly Fairy writes, we all need a friend like you, sending love from Australia. Thank you for saying that. Natalie writes, Candace, my heart is beating so fast. This is insane. Your strength is so inspiring, and we have your back. Let's effing go. I know you guys have my back, and I also know that Charlie has my back. Because Charlie always had my back, and I always had his. And like I said, he knew that I didn't want to defend him, and I would stand up to all of these clowns and all of these people who pretend to be pastors, pretend to be biblical, and pretend that they're doing this out of like some moral authority. You are the worst human beings in the entire world. Seriously, to hide behind a Bible, like that makes me angrier than anything else for some reason. Like to pretend that somebody pursuing truth when their friend is assassinated is some kind of an immorality or quote unquote evil makes me sick. It literally makes me sick.
That right there is what I cannot stand, because that is somebody who's not even, they don't even care about their audience anymore. They don't even care. That almost 6 million people means shit to them.
Yeah, it's something else I can't stand is her thinking that she would be able to do this if Charlie Kirk was alive. She would not be able to dog out Rob McCoy. And what is she talking about, weaponizing the Bible? When she misquotes the scriptures herself. She would not be doing this if he were alive. This is disgusting. Why is this even necessary? To the candy asses and sit here in the box. You keep asking me why am I talking about on my channel that you don't have to watch. But why aren't you asking her that? Ask Candace, why didn't you talk about Rob McCoy when Charlie Kirk was alive? Because we all want to know here. Why didn't you dog him out if you felt something weird about him from day one? Why didn't Candace Owens ever speak about Rob McCoy and tell us how she really felt while Charlie Kirk was still alive? That is the question and nothing else. Why doesn't she say why she failed to speak out about Rob McCoy if she felt something bad about him while Charlie Kirk was still alive? That's the question. Why won't she say that? Why didn't she speak bad about him when Charlie Kirk walked the earth? Nope, I don't want to hear that. No one knows. Nope. She speaks about him all over social media. She's not scared. Remember, she said, "I don't care who it is. I'm gonna say what I want to say." Ditto. Why didn't she speak bad about Rob McCoy if she felt that there was something going wrong with him while Charlie Kirk was alive? Why didn't she ever do an episode about him or do a post about him while Charlie Kirk was alive? I'm just saying. Why wasn't that done? I want the candy asses to ask her that. Why didn't you say all these things when Charlie Kirk was alive?
But ad revenue, the more millions you get, the more you're actually getting paid. You're not talking about maybe $1,000 or $1,500 a month. You're now talking millions. And the bigger topic you have, the more views you're getting, more live gifts you're getting. And she's not even live. These are pre-recorded videos that are already pre-edited, and they're uploaded onto YouTube, and they're published live at 5:30 or 5 o'clock. And then they go live as if they're live. She's sitting there with a laptop as if she's live. She's reading comments and other things from the previous episode because she slipped up before and has said that. But as much as I have liked Candace Owens and I have prayed for her, I have realized that she is just a downright narcissist. And she used psychological manipulation tactics very much like Sigmund Freud had studied and had used, very much like what the CIA has used. Now I understand her obsession with it because she is using those tactics on you guys. And if you're watching her, do whatever you want. But just realize that when she uses that language.
Oh, I don't want you to stop watching. No, I want the candy asses to keep watching because the bots and stuff, they're going to keep watching and they're going to keep copy and paste the same comments on everybody else's videos. No, don't stop watching. I'm not here to convince brainwashed individuals of anything. But I will ask you to ask her questions. Ask her, why didn't you dog out Rob McCoy while Charlie Kirk was alive here on earth in this reality? Because she doesn't fear anybody. She's not scared of anything. She's not scared to confront someone, right? That's what she said. I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I speak the truth. So why not do this while Charlie Kirk was alive? You would have been speaking your mind and speaking the truth. Would you not? Because she's focused on every other country except America. That dumb excuse. No. She focuses on many other countries, but not America. But when it comes down to her speaking her mind and speaking the truth, somehow she doesn't know how to do that, or she couldn't do that when he was alive about his own pastor. She didn't have to listen to his pastor. But boy, does she have a lot of thoughts about this man now after Charlie Kirk is dead. But she didn't have the boldness somehow to speak about this while he was alive. She was scared, maybe. Perhaps she is a coward and doesn't have a spine. What was to stop her from doing that? She wasn't really talking to Charlie Kirk every day like that. Why hasn't she had Erica Kirk on her show? I'm still wondering that.
Especially hiding behind religion and the Bible. Yet she's sitting there constantly picking certain comments to read about. Candace, I know that God's with you. I know that you're doing the right thing. That makes you feel like if you don't agree with it, you're the outsider. That if you don't agree with it, you're not religious. Now remember, this is somebody who was just recently converted to Catholicism. So being somebody that's been religious the whole 40 years that I've been on earth, nobody's going to sit here and try to use religion to hide behind or use religion as a shield for their bad narcissistic behavior, because I started seeing it. And the way she says me, I constantly all the time. And then very select language with, they know we're telling the truth, making you feel like you're included with her in what she's doing. And anybody that's not in agreement with her is evil, is a demon, is downright sinister, and is, literally straight from hell. And God is not going to protect it because it's the truth.
Because that's how cult leaders talk. It's the same thing that Jim Jones said to his cult, especially after they created People Sound in a whole nother country. Jim Jones did the same thing. He came off like a pastor. And he wanted to preach about equality amongst races and socialism and wanted everybody to get help equally. In the eyes of God, we are one the same. But he started taking the scriptures and weaponizing it to say that if people don't agree with me and they agree with us, they're the enemy. And then now you have people who don't say the same things or reiterate Jim Jones's talking points being seen as an actual enemy to defeat. People start come up missing and hurt and dead. People who want to leave the cult weren't able to leave the cult. That's exactly what happened the day that everybody had their lives. Those kids, the innocent children that had nothing to do with it. Over 500 people lost their lives. Because he had these people brainwashed to believe that if you try to leave, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be able to live your life. The government's just going to kill you. They're going to make you suffer. They're going to continue to treat all the black people out here like the N-word. This is stuff that Jim Jones said. All of it. Now with Candace, people are being cyber harassed, bullied, and doxxed because people don't say the same thing she says, as if we owe her that. Nobody owes her a damn thing. Just like, yes, Scientology. I'm so glad you said that. It's like Scientology. You try to leave, you're hurt. They threaten you and your family. They dox you. They put out personal identifiable information. All because you're saying something they don't like, and now you're the enemy. That's every single cult. And it's no different with Candace Owens. It's a cult. Except people are being hurt, and they're breaking laws, and they don't care. And just as a heads up, there's case law when it comes down to those who perpetuate crimes online. Don't think hiding behind a YouTube channel is going to help you. It doesn't. Someone files a complaint. She has all these so-called mommy sleuths impersonating officers and investigators to go out and dox someone. You understand that you can be reported to the FBI for aiding in that. They can uncover who you are, find out who you are. You can be charged equally just as the person that told you to do it. Hiding behind a YouTube channel does not spare you from anything. There's a man sitting in jail with 12 counts of making online death threats because he listened to Candace Owens, Nicholas Ray. She hasn't even denounced his actions. That goes to cult mentality. Oh, well, these Jewish conservatives must be the enemy. Now we have to take their lives. And for what? Because they don't agree with Candace Owens, or because Candace Owens is making them the enemy, making them targets. And people are brainwashed to believe that, to the point where they don't feel that these people are worth living. But yet you condemn what Tyler Robinson did or anyone else did that took the life of Charlie Kirk. And you hypocritically go out and perpetuate the opposite of that. Now, Jewish conservatives don't deserve to live because you don't agree with them. That's a cult. That's what my video is about. Yep. My channel. I dictate that. Cult. You shouldn't be talking about somebody. You don't get to infringe upon freedom of speech here. You don't get to dictate my content. That's the cult-like mentality. And then if you don't like it, you get cyberbullied. You get cyber harassed. You get doxxed. People want to take your life. People don't want you to live. Because now you don't agree with them. This is what this young man, Nicholas Ray, and two others, let's not forget two others in Australia that actually admitted that they were influenced directly by Candace Owens. One of them took the lives of some people from a synagogue, from a mosque, and another one tried to burn down a synagogue. And they admitted they were influenced by Candace Owens. So even then, she was spewing out rhetoric that influenced people to actually go out and commit violent crimes. We went over that information. We researched it and pulled it up in the previous video. This is what she does. But they don't think that they're breaking the law when they're doxing people. That's not something that is hard to prove. I've already proven that. Prove her wrong? She needs scientific evidence. She doesn't have it to prove that someone was born a man. She's wrong. We asked for evidence from her on a blue and yellow plane. She can't produce it. She says she's going to post up a video of Tyler Robinson walking with a woman. Now all of a sudden she doesn't have it. She can't answer simple questions from the free press, from the Associated Press, without getting an attitude and throwing a tantrum. I'm not the one bringing forth the allegations. She is. The burden is on her. The onus is on her. She wants to claim to be an independent journalist. I'm not proving a damn thing based on her allegations. It's for her to prove. If that's a concept you don't understand, then you don't understand how journalism works either. No, she brings forth the allegations. It's her burden to prove it. Period. She pulls people out of crowds and puts up photos of college kids and then wants to know who they are, because a kid wearing a green hoodie is suspicious to her. Oh, people in this bush, that's suspicious. Oh, this lady didn't go down on the ground. That's suspicious. Never mind fight or flight responses. Basic fundamental concepts go over her head. She didn't even tell you all that her attorneys were in that building at the 920 North King Street. But the candy asses don't care. It's not sensationalism. Oh, it's not entertaining. You're not saying exactly what she says. You're the enemy. That is the cult-like mentality. You become the enemy, and then they actually turn you into an enemy, and they target you for bullying, for harassment, for doxing. I let the candy asses get it all out because they have no effect or power on my platform. None. You're helping to engage up my chat. I thank you all for that. But they don't dictate what I say. They don't infringe upon my free speech, free press, the rights that I have here. They don't dictate any of that. But they try to do that because you're the enemy. If you don't say what she says, you don't do what she does, you're the enemy. I'm going to ban you, dude, because you're spamming my chat. You don't have to spam the chat. So this is what it comes down to. Your cult-like mentality. And they can't help it. They can't help it. Because what else they have to go on? I want to share this information. This is Escaping Conspiracy Theories from the Library of Purdue University.edu. I'll drop the link in the chat because this is what research looks like. Reading is fundamental. Recognizing the danger signs of conspiracy theories. Now, not all conspiracy theories that you created equal, and choosing when and where to engage in a conversation with a friend or loved one is important. Some conspiracy theories are harmless. Others, such as QAnon or the Great Replacement, have significant real-world consequences. This page will help you figure out whether or not the conspiracy theory is dangerous. So here's some questions to ask. Ask what the conspiracy theory wants someone to believe. Ask what the conspiracy theory wants someone to do. Ask whether the conspiracy theory will lead to more dangerous beliefs. Ask what the impact will be of inaction. If the idea of understanding conspiracy theory is that it lacks facts and evidence, then it's just fundamentally someone's belief or opinion. But the problem is when that belief or opinion is pushed out to be a hardcore truth. Like, Candace Owens saying it is a fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man. That should have been left at her opinion. Her opinion would have been protected as free speech under the First Amendment. But because she turned that into a fact, that's not protected free speech. Because now you're saying there's some evidence that you have to either support that, or if you don't, it's defamatory. Because it's a provable false statement. And even when they tried to correct her on it, she rejected the photos. She rejected the birth announcement. She rejected all of that because they want to continue going with all this made up fictitious nonsense that had nothing to do with scientific DNA. Because that is the only irrefutable evidence you need to prove someone's gender. Because that is a matter of human anatomy and physiology and science, biology, medical records, irrefutable evidence. Or you can just physically look at the person naked. But we know we're not going to do that. You need scientific evidence to prove that. But that became an entire conspiracy because it was just her opinion that should have been left there, that she started purporting to be a fact. And she wanted others to believe that simply because she put it out there, not because it was fundamentally true. This is what happens when you have these conspiracy theories that are put out here, and then she repeats it over and over and over again because, repetition matters. You hear it 3 or 4 or 5 more times, and then you hear it consistently. You start to believe it to be true more and more and more, especially when you're not challenging that. I don't expect the candy ass to just challenge a damn thing. I already said, I don't believe in trying to change the mind of a cult member. It's a bad approach. And then if let's say they do believe some of what you say, when they go back into it twice as hard. It's like an addict. If they try to quit cold turkey and they're not doing it the right way, they're not mentally and emotionally and physically prepared to withdraw from their addiction. When they go back to doing it, they go back twice as hard because now they feel like they got to make up for lost time. That's what happens with these conspiracy theories. It becomes a cult personality when you have a great number of people that follow along with that. It's like a following. Then people start to believe that. And then they start to perpetuate that. They don't allow room for other thought. They don't ask questions. They don't try to get someone else's perspective. It's either you agree with what I think or you're my enemy. And now I have to take you out. They don't do anything else outside of that. They don't even want people to ask questions. You see how they attack when you say something about their dear leader. Candace Owens does not pay my bills. I don't care. So this information here, they've ranked some of the greatest conspiracy theories here out there that people, still believe in. And I'll drop the link to this. You guys can read for yourselves for those that want to read. I don't expect Candy Asses to read. I don't expect her to read. She's not gonna read anything. So here's another article, because research, you have more than one source, that speaks to the psychological control tactics used in cults. So let's get to the key takeaways. Cults employ various psychological control tactics, including mind control, manipulation, and isolation to dominate members. So they isolate all these candy asses here into one group. And so that's their safe space. When they go on, when Candace is doing a show, all the candy asses come together, all 500,000 of them, however it is. 144,000. They hate that number because it's significant to Jewish culture. But 144,000 of them gathered together. And they feel safe there because they all say the same thing. They all reiterate each other's points. They all confirm each other's points because they've been out working hard trying to dismantle all the rest of us that don't agree with Candace Owens, because facts and evidence and reality, they've been working so hard at it. So they got to come together and recover and regroup. Give each other some comfort. They don't feel safe here. You understand? This is not their safe space. So they go back to her show and they go to their safe space because they can kind of reaffirm each other. Yes, we still believe. We still believe. And they isolate themselves from anything else that is outside of what they should be thinking. Ideas, people, family, friends, they isolate themselves from it because they don't want anyone to tell them anything any differently. Many times cult members are bad at debates. They're bad at arguments is not an argument for them. It's just an explosion. It's either their way or the highway, and that's it. No middle ground. No challenging thought. No, you know what? Let me look up the definition of that word. Maybe I don't understand what a cybercrime is, and I shouldn't be cyberbullying people and doxing people or impersonating an officer or an agent, because it is a felony. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Let me Google that and research that and look that up. No, they don't do that. They're isolated from anything that goes against what they have been indoctrinated to believe. Fear, intimidation, guilt, and shame are used to coerce compliance, maintain control within the group. What are the candy asses scared of? You say something that might even be reasonable, starting with Candace has not produced any scientific DNA to prove that Brigitte Macron is a man. What would be so wrong to the candy asses in even asking that or admitting that? What would be so wrong in you all saying that? Where is the scientific DNA? Where's some blood work that has been presented by Candace Owens to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man? Why would you all feel guilty of making that statement? Would you be shameful of saying that? I'm asking. Would you feel ashamed in saying Candace has not presented any scientific evidence, no blood work, lab work, or DNA to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man? She has not. We haven't seen it yet. Maybe she has it, but we haven't seen it. Would you all feel shame in saying that? Why can't that be admitted? Because we haven't seen any evidence on it. We're all waiting. We're all looking. Why is it that the candy ass cult members have a hard time saying that? That's a fundamental fact, that she has not presented any evidence that is scientific, or DNA, any lab work or blood work, no genetics testing to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man. And when I say scientific, I'm not talking about a book. Scientific is based on science. Why would you feel shame in saying that? I'm just saying. If we understand what scientific means, we understand that it's based on science. Why would it be so wrong to say that? She has not presented it. She's the one bringing forth the allegation. That would be for her to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man. Their goal when they go to court is to prove that she lied, and there's no evidence to prove that what she said is the truth. They're not there to prove Candace right in court. When the court starts, their burden is to prove that they were defamed by her, meaning she lied on them. She made provable false statements. If you don't understand the definition of the word defamation, please take time to Google it. Defamation is provable false statements with the intent to defame, to embarrass, to humiliate someone. That is the legal definition of the word defamation. You don't believe me? Google it right quick. Fact check me. Fact check me, boo. Look it up. Their burden is to not prove Candace right. Their burden is to prove she lied. So she wouldn't have that. So why make that a fact? Why not leave it at an opinion? That's the argument. Why turn that into a fact if you know you do not have the DNA evidence to prove it to be a fact? If you don't understand the definition of the word fact, you're going to have to look that up as well. We read here in the Lady Luck Club. So why not get the actual DNA before you say this is a fact? Why not just say it's my belief? It's my opinion. And if you never get the DNA evidence to show that, then you leave it at your belief or your opinion. She purported it to be a fact. That's what got her screwed up. That's how terminology works. That's how definitions of terms work. That's the concept of scientific DNA. That's how it works in court. Period. But what would be so wrong with the candy ass is saying? We haven't seen any evidence. Would you be fearful of that? Would you be intimidated? Because they're not intimidating me at all. I hope y'all know that. No, the candy ass doesn't intimidate me at all. I feel no guilt or shame in saying Candace made a false statement she can't prove with scientific evidence. And she should have never said it was a fact until she had that. That's the issue. It is Candace's fault that she's being sued because she should have said it's my opinion and left it at that. Don't go past that to say it's a fact and you have no evidence to support it. I know these concepts are going over the candy ass's heads. It's okay. To the Luxers, it's okay. We understand what we're saying because we understand, information like that. That's complex. But this is what they do. And then they go out and they try to shame others if you don't say exactly what they want you to say. They're not enjoying what I'm saying, and yet they're still listening. But they're not enjoying it. So what do? They automatically respond with all the dumb things that they're saying. Because they're trying to force compliance. You're not going to get me to comply against reality. No. But see, if you're not in a cult, you wouldn't worry about that. You wouldn't care if someone's saying something critical of your so-called dear leader, if it's not a cult. Because there's no penalty for it, because people are exercising their free speech. Right along with you all. This is why I've allowed half of you to still keep doing this. Because of free speech. And if it's spamming and you're going beyond that, no. But you don't infringe upon my free speech, just like I'm not infringing upon yours. It's a hate thing. That's what's so crazy. She should have never turned that into a fact. Positive reinforcement, like love bombing, creates emotional dependency and loyalty to the cult. Has Candace Owens ever offered a free gift for any member of her audience? Has she ever did a prize or anything philanthropic? Has she ever gone to Gaza and sent out food and medicine and aid and water to the people in Gaza? Has she donated to Erica Kirk and her kids because she lost her husband? Has she given scholarships out to anybody for the University of Rhode Island that wants to major in journalism and English? Has she ever done anything to love bomb anybody? Because I'm going to say right now, I haven't seen Candace Owens love bomb anyone, period. She's not love bombing anything. So yeah, to that extent, hey, yeah, we can skip over that. I don't even think she gives positive reinforcement. You know what she does? She gives positive reinforcement when she's selectively picking out comments that still glorify her. That's not challenging to her or even oppositional to what she's saying. She only reads comments that just kind of kiss her ass. That's it. That's the extent of her love bombing, because she doesn't do anything else. She doesn't do a weekly drawing to give out, $500 gift card to one of her members, to her cult members. Because they see out here and they work so hard, you all. They're on YouTube every day calling everybody else liars and blah blah blah. They're coming up with new terms and new names to call us. And yet, what is the prize they get for that? What is their reward from Candace, from their dear cult leader? What is the reward of doing all of this? Nothing. They get nothing. Absolutely nothing. Candace gives them that. She won't even let them put in a drawing for a free cup and t-shirt and hat. Candace, you're already illegally making money off of the CIA logo apparel. There are federal laws in place saying you should not be using the CIA logo or any likeness or image of it without permission from the CIA to make a profit or to earn revenue or money from it. Federal law. So you're violating a federal law. So why not just give a free t-shirt and a free hat and a free cup to your audience? You're already illegally acquiring this money. You're already breaking federal laws, Candace. You might as well go all the way there. Go all the way there, girl. I mean, little things like this. Yeah, so much for that love bombing. Information control and strict rituals limit members' access to outside perspectives and enforce obedience. Oh, the candy ass cult members, y'all are so obedient to Candace. You're so obedient. You're like loyal puppies. You're so obedient. You're loyal puppies to Candace. It's just, it's adorable. They don't, you're not, of course you're not going to challenge her or anything. It's the control. It's here are the same 5 comments that you see repeated from the candy asses in my chat. You're lying. You're jealous. You're being paid $7,000 because that's an exact number, but they won't say $7,777.77. They won't make it all sevens to save their lives. That would be funny. How about the 144,000 that represents the 144,000 Jews that are chosen? Well, why won't you all go for that number? At least it has meaning. They won't even go for a number that has meaning or value. It's 7777.77. Seriously. Times 2. The 7,000 thing, yes, it gets old. It is getting old. But this is the thing. They copy and paste it. Oh, you don't like Candace. You hate her. Hate is a strong word. I never said I hate her. She has said she hates everybody. She said, I hate everyone. That's what she said in her life. I actually got a snippet of it. I'm going to show you all. She said, I hate everyone. She didn't say I hate everyone except my candy ass cult followers. Nope. She says I hate everybody. But that love bombing thing, I guess, is supposed to take care of that. Yeah, no, I'm going all the way in now. So she loves bombs them so bad that she can say I hate everybody and give no exception to that. Not even to her cult members that go around here with this information control, where they're saying the same thing in everybody's chat. This entire chat, this whole live stream has proven the point of the cult of Candace Owens. You can't say I'm not good at what I do. Candace, I'm the queen of this, girl. That's why you were reporting on what I say you're doing. Like I called it with the planes. Next week, it'll be the hospital again. The doctors, the autopsy report, because you're recycling. Why do y'all think I said, let them get it all out? because it's like auto repeat. The same comments from all these different various fake YouTube accounts over and over and over again. Information control. One of them spamming my chat. I just had to get rid of them because I don't want my video blocked for this. If you're a cult member, be a cult member. You don't have to you don't have to agree with me. I don't expect you to. I don't expect a cult member to agree with me. That's an unrealistic expectation. You see that? But whenever she comes back, then she'll be talking about the hospital and the surgeons again. But I don't expect them to agree with me. That defeats the idea of them being cult members. No, they don't do that. Yeah, they're still at it, Francis. The candies are bots. They're proving my point with their auto repeat comments. That's it. They're not saying anything else. This information control is copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. You're getting paid $7,000. You hate her. You are obviously a Zionist. You don't like her. You're jealous of her. She has more money than you. She has more subs than you. All those things that no one cares about. Won't mean anything on Judgment Day either. Just as an FYI. God will not care either. But no, they say all these things that they think, I laugh at it. But they think it matters. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I don't expect them to agree with me. But it goes to show their mentality. The bots are in the bots farms. They're copy and pasting the same old thing because they think it's somehow influencing my Lucksters over here. You're not. My Lucksters are not sitting here persuaded by bots and candy ass cult members because they read for themselves. I let them challenge me. I tell them, I encourage that. Challenge me. Send me the information. Send me the evidence. Send me the links. Fact check me. I said the legal definition of defamation. Fact check me. You don't like what I'm saying? Look it up and Google it. Bots don't read. They don't do that. It's like scanning in real time. They ain't trying to do that. They're too busy trying to spread this information control the same comments, thinking that it's influencing someone when it's not. It doesn't work over here. They have no power over here with that. But that's what they do. And they do it from video to video to video to video. If it's going to happen, I just let it happen. But I trust the intelligence of my supporters and my mods well enough to know they're not going to be persuaded by some bot saying the same old thing over and over again. And I don't force them to think anyway. I encourage them to research. I encourage challenging thought and questions. I do. Leaving a cult involves overcoming deep psychological impacts caused by these control tactics. Well, if they're bots, it doesn't matter. But if they're real people, it's going to be hard for them to kind of be reacclimated to the real world again. Because now they have to break free of what they've mentally and emotionally been forced to believe, for however long they were caught up in this cult. Mind control is something else. Why does Candace Owens talk about MK Ultra all the time? Why does she obsess over mind control? Candace majored in journalism and English. But she doesn't speak on the things that she's so-called educated on. Why does she obsess over mind control? Controlling the masses, government control, anything dealing with control. Why does she obsess over that? That's all she talks about. her unvetted tip line. That's where they all feel safe. Every one of my master, make sure I'm, we're doing the right thing, right, Candace? Please tell us we're doing the right thing. We love you. We love you so much, Candace. Are we doing the right thing? Are we good? They need that reassurance. But when you talk about control methods, she obsesses over that. That's why she claims, I don't trust the feds. I don't trust the government. So here's the question, because logic. Candace, if you don't trust the feds, then why do you care if the FBI told you that You were meant to be the one they took out. It was supposed to be you. Why would you trust that? That came from an FBI agent, did it not? Or a government employee? Didn't that come from a government employee or FBI agent? It was supposed to be you. Why would she trust that if she doesn't trust the government? If she doesn't trust the feds, then she wouldn't trust anything they said, right? Why would she even care? That's the question here. If she doesn't care about anything the FBI, the government has to say, why would she care about someone telling her from the government it was supposed to be you? That's all I'm saying. Why even trust it? She should have laughed at it. I don't believe anything you say anyway. I don't trust you people. Now all of a sudden she trusts something? Why? Wouldn't that be a contradiction of what she's been saying? Why would she even trust someone saying it was supposed to be you if she doesn't trust the feds? She doesn't trust none of the government. She doesn't trust nobody. She hates everybody. Then why do you care about someone telling you it should have been you, especially when it comes from the feds or the government? That goes against your own principle, Candace. Because obviously you're displaying that you trust what he said to some extent to be concerned about it. Why would you even care? Why care? See, the hypocrisy of this is staggering to me. Spidey senses. Her research team are those she convinced higher education wasn't worth the money or student loans. Exactly. Yeah, her spidey senses are tingling. Candace, I highly doubt you would trust Superman or Spider-Man more than you would the feds. I'm telling you it right now, because a federal agent, a federal government employee told you it was supposed to be you. And somehow you took that and ran with it. And now you're scared? Child, please. Why? You don't trust the government, Candace Owens. You don't trust the feds, Candace Owens. So why do you trust that he said it was supposed to be you? You should be like, I don't trust none of that you saying. I'm going to go home and live my life. Why not? It goes against her whole principle here. All the things she's been telling the candy asses, guess what? She just served as a hypocrite to it. By trusting one thing they said. She didn't have to trust any of that. She could have just said, you know what? Unless you got evidence to show that it was supposed to be me, I don't trust the feds. I don't trust the government. So why are you telling me that? I don't believe it. You see how she lied? She contradicted herself, and her actions speak otherwise. Now, I'm not trying to convince the candy ass cult followers. I'm really not. I want you all to go back where she talks about this and then go back to her saying, you know, we don't trust the feds. We're the decentralized intelligence agency, you know, because we like breaking laws and impersonating agents. None of us have any education or license or certification or training in investigating, but whatever. We're going to do this ourselves, but we don't trust the feds. We don't trust the government. And then go to the video where she says, they told me it was supposed to be me. None of the candy asses decided to flood the chat and say, why do you care? What do you mean? We don't trust the feds. We don't believe them. We don't believe anything they're saying, right? We don't believe nothing that the feds or the government is saying. So why do you care, Candace, about them saying it was supposed to be you? Come on, somebody. It's Sunday, y'all. Can we have church for a little bit? Why do that? Why do that? Why care? The man she said it was an FBI agent. Do I have to pull it up, or we're going to see him be that aloof? No. She said, and she showed the photo of the man. Does he not work for the government? He works for the government, right? The man that told her it should have been you, he works for the government. You want me to pull up something you can pull up yourself that you already know is out there because you obsess over this stuff. What a clown. What is the guy's name? Because he said it. He was a governmental employee, right? What is the guy's name? No, that was a guy that she said it worked for the FBI. If Andrew Clovet has blonde hair, we're gonna have a problem. Nope, it wasn't him. It was someone else. This guy had lighter hair. She said that guy told her it was supposed to be you. And yet the feds somehow aren't helping her figure out who this person is that's after her. She don't trust him. She's not trying to find that out herself. She's not trying to research it. So if she doesn't trust the feds or the CIA or anything, no, she got that information from. She says she got that information, unless she lying. She says she got that information from the feds. Someone at the feds told her that. Because she's got leaks at the feds. Yeah, that's another point. Why you have leaks at the feds if you don't trust the feds? Why does she have leaks with the feds? Why do you have leaks at the feds if you don't trust them? Why have leaks with the feds? Make that make sense? All she does is bash Rob McCoy. You can't make this up. Whole video of her bashing Rob McCoy. Oh, and the federal government and Kash Patel. Can't make this up. No, I'm going to go back and look for it because that's not the video. I'm going to go back and look for it. She said the FBI told her, the feds told her it was supposed to be her. And I'm sitting here saying, why are you even caring about what the feds say if you don't trust them? Why would you do that? Yeah, I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look it up. I am going to look it up. But that she said, she did say that, but I didn't believe it. But I don't believe it. She did say that. It's actually, she did say it came from the feds. She said she has it's like on CNN. She did the interview and said that she has people on the inside with the feds giving her information along with Turning Point. Maz, is it all caps okay for name abbreviation like CO and FBI? I will pull it up tomorrow because I know you're asking. I'm going to pull it up tomorrow. Yeah, that's fine. Because I'm going to have it ready for tomorrow. Because she did say that the Fed, she had insiders with the Fed. She has, why would she want to have any insiders with the FBI? I don't know. And that was from the CNN interview. But if you don't trust the feds, then why would you have insiders with the FBI? Leaks. That's what she called it. Leaks. I have leaks with the feds. I have leaks in Turning Point. Why have leaks with the feds? You don't trust the feds. Why have leaks? She said that. She said she has leaks. She said the feds told her, a federal agent told her it was supposed to be her. She has leaks in the FBI and she has leaks in Turning Point. If you have leaks in the feds, why do you have leaks in the feds if you don't trust the feds? Like it makes sense. She said it when we're saying this. No. She'll never do that. She'll never do that. She's done more than one show. You don't have to follow up on it. I said, I'm going to do that. So sit tight. So why have leaks in the FBI if you don't trust the feds? I wouldn't even admit that. Why worry about anything that they tell you if you don't trust them? So, because I got to get to the next live. That's why I'm going to do this tomorrow. I know I want to have everything, the video up, and I want to have the caption up like I always do to pull up the snippet. So this is just some more information for you guys to take a look at regarding the cult-like mentality and the cult-like behavior. I know, right? Don't give her any ideas. It's so crazy. I don't care if it comes from, listen, if anyone told her that she's got leaks in the FBI, then why say you don't trust the FBI? Why have leaks? Why let anything they say to you have an effect on you? She may have been told that by Andrew COVID. I'm saying that the feds told her that as well. She said that. Why repeat that? Why repeat that? I'm looking for more channels that are seeing that CO has no credibility anymore. Spent money in 3 years following her every word. No more. Yeah, child. The only thing that I've ever asked of Candace is for her to produce evidence on the things that she says, and she doesn't. She lies and makes things up so bad to where this is what happens. She's saying that the feds told her it was supposed to be her. Andrew COVID said the same thing. If that be the case, great. Why repeat anything the feds tell you? Why have leaks in the FBI if you don't trust them? That's the hypocrisy that's staggering to me. That whether the candidate has to believe her or not, they're going to believe whatever she says. Because reasons. But she sits here and she says all these things. What sources does she have in the FBI? Why would she have any sources in the FBI? Answer me that. When she does not trust the FBI. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? She said I have leaks. Leaks in the FBI. I have my leaks. Why? Okay, so if you're saying the FBI forged the text messages and you have leaks, then why trust anything they say? You don't trust the FBI. That is a simple question. Simple question. Does it make sense to say I have leaks in the FBI, but I don't trust the FBI at all? Then you shouldn't trust anything that any FBI agent tells you. Because that's common sense. That's it. But they're leaking information to her and she doesn't trust them? What the fuck? Why? Yeah, this is so funny to me. Why would you even admit to having leaks? First of all, it's illegal to have FBI leaks and all that. A source is somebody that you can find to be credible, especially if you're trying to be neutral and impartial and you actually, pursuing the art of journalism here. She said, I have leaks. And I'm like, why even have leaks in the feds and you don't trust the feds? It's so stupid. I wouldn't trust nothing they tell me. I would never admit to that. I would never admit to it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd be satire. Oh man. Okay, so for those who, And all the information, all the resources. There are other tabs, Psychology Today, about the cult of personality and the personality of the cult. Oh man, from Psychology Today. This is a great read. All of these links will be in the description of the video as well. And just as an FYI, because Candace Owens said perception is 9/10 of the law, she lied. It's possession is 9/10 of the law. She doesn't understand this concept either. And it's like an older legal principle. She would never understand it. She didn't go to law school or anything. And she didn't read it. For her to say perception is 9/10 of the law and not possession, it goes to show she doesn't read and look stuff up. So, having said that, we're going to say goodbye to Candace and have her wish her a great evening. Let me pull Candace up, y'all. Oh, Candace. Yes, we did this live about you, girl, because at some point you have to stop lying. All right, y'all. Y'all tell Candace to have a fantastic evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you can do this with Brigitte Macron, Candace, we can do this with you all day, every day. I don't care. Candace, y'all tell her to good. Come on, candy asses. Y'all don't mind her putting up the alien ET picture of Brigitte Macron. Why is it so bad? Oh, come now. Now they don't have a sense of humor. Oh no, this isn't funny. It's not funny when she puts up Brigitte Macron, but you guys don't seem to have a problem with that one. Because hypocrisy and all. I'm just saying, if we're going to sit here, we're going to sit here and look at ET pictures that's supposed to be Brigitte Macron, why we can't sit here and say Jermaine Stewart is Candace Owens now? Come on now. Come on. They laugh at all her jokes, all her nonsense. Oh, it's not funny. See, because, the mentality of the cult. Y'all tell Candace, have a good evening, Candace. We will see you when you come back to work week after next or whatever. Because she puts up ET photos of Brigitte Macron while saying that she was born a man. Okay, well, we can do this. Two can play that damn game. Two can play that game, y'all. Don't care. This is hilarious. I want to laugh about this for days. Shout out to the Luxers that sent me this photo. You guys are funny. I love it. Yeah, Jermaine Stewart was a singer. Candace can't sing. Y'all, come on now. Don't even try to make that comparison. Candace can't sing. Y'all know she can't sing to save her life. Jermaine Stewart had a little talent. This is like a step up. We're giving her some talent, okay? We're not sitting here calling her ET. We're not doing that. We're giving her some talent. He can sing. He can dance. He was fashionable. He had a little fashionista about himself. Come on now, Candace. Y'all, come on. I don't care. She did the same thing to Brigitte Macron. This is a running joke in the Lady Luck Club. It's a running joke in the Lady Luck Club. Somebody told me to pull up Jermaine Stewart, and I was like, wait, what? And so I pulled it up, and I said, oh, I see what you're saying. It looks like Candace Owens. Y'all, this is Jermaine Stewart, okay? He was a singer and everything. He seemed to be a nice person. He was also a little philanthropist. He had a little talent, and it looks like Candace Owens. Candace, because see, two can play this game. Why do you get to put up a photo of E.T. with a wig on and say that's Brigitte Macron? And we can't put up a photo of Jermaine Stewart and say that's you. Why we can't do that? Why y'all being hypocritical, candy asses? Come on now. Don't be hypocritical. I think it's a spitting image too. I don't understand. This is Candace Twins, except she has talent. Candace Twins has talent here. Jermaine can sing. He had a hit. He had a whole song that went viral. Come on now. Y'all know this Candace. They want to sit here and get mad. Oh no. Oh no. But she puts up an ET photo with a wig on and said, this is Brigitte Macron. but we can't put up a photo of Jermaine Stewart and say this is Candace Owens. They look just alike. You gotta enjoy the humor. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. Oh no, haters are gonna hate. Okay. I'm giving Candace some actual talent here with this photo of Jermaine Stewart, and you're talking about I'm hating. Oh, stop it. Y'all get to bed. I thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you all for tuning in, including the candy asses. They're fun. They're fun. They don't like stuff, but it is what it is. Y'all hit the like button on the way out, and I will see you all in the next one. And until then, Lady Luck Club out.